tur day uyu borom jasna pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jasna your number one stop shop. Ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garmi yi ndaxte quality jasna amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi. Ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jasna amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg. Dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jasna ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi. Makeup artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay makeup product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofa sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jasna si 250 01 24 ak quality jasna taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye bégal sa alaaji aas.
Greetings and a warm welcome to our Bakadaji Hotel here in Kololi, live in the Gambia, where we will be hosting Africa a book fair, courtesy of Fatoumata Kamara Jr. And let me take you through what are some of the things that definitely inspired this book fair to be launched in the Gambia here, especially in Bakadaji Hotel in Kololi here. And of course, I am your reporter on the ground here, and this is Gambian Talents TV. Thanks to Safiatou Jaju, the ever hardworking camera lady, always being there to bring you the beautiful footage you always see on camera or in front of the screens. As per that, in wasting much time, I will take you through what are some of the things that will be happening here, and of course, what really motivate or what is the motive behind this book fair here in Bakadaji in Kololi. And of course, the event is set to showcase a diverse array of books penned or written by different African authors, and of course, welcoming publishers and book dealers to participate in this literary extravaganza. The primary aim of the book fair is to establish a dynamic platform not only for the sale of books, but also to foster a meaningful engagements between African authors and, of course, the public. And as per that, the event is also poised to serve as a catalyst for motivation and inspiration among Gambian authors and, of course, and book readers. As per that, this event came as a result of the hardworking Fatou Kamara Jr., an entrepreneur, and of course, one of the most, or not most, but one of the part of the brainstorm or the brain or the mastermind behind this whole event. As to bring a meaningful, engagement as far as our education and, of course, intellectual meaningfuls are concerned. As per that, the event will see a lot of dignitaries and, of course, a lot of prominent actors across Africa and especially in the Gambia. Here we have Mohamed Sabali, who has written so many books in the Gambia here, and of course he will be the guest speaker of the event. As per that, you stay tuned and keep watching Gambian Talents TV as we bring everything that unfolds in Bakadaji Hotel here. And I am Modlamin Job reporting from Bakadaji Hotel in Kololi. Thank you for now.
For Gambian authors to come together to the table to inspire young people to say that before we read or we could read, it's good that we have other authors from other countries, but charity begins at home, as we always say, and it's always good to connect with people who knows where you come from. That way it's very easy for you to just connect with a story they're inspiring, because that is just next to your door. And before we call on our first speaker and the finest author for the Gambia, he need no introduction. Before we do that, we just want to command the presence of God Almighty. So I will request that we have our individual prayers. From there, we can start immediately. Thank you so very much. And once again, we want to apologize for starting late. It's always the norm. We hope that we will change the narrative as time goes on. Though we have some people that were here way earlier, but we still want to acknowledge that and still extend our sincere apology for everybody that have been waiting for nearly 2 hours. First, we want to hear one of our renowned speakers and the finest Gambian author. Somebody that when you're speaking about Gambian and audacity and confidence, and people that are very resilient, you cannot list and you cannot erase his name out of the list, is our very own Commando. the finest. You guys, I don't applause for this guy, yeah? You guys know that I'm too serious to. No, hold on now. You guys know that I'm too serious to be here and promoting somebody. He deserved the title. The Gambia's finest is nobody but Uncle over the pen. Somebody.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Mistress of ceremony, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. All right, that's not cool. Ladies and gentlemen, after all, it's a ladies program. I want to salute Fatou Kamara Jr., the convener of this very special event, and say congratulations for this initiative of creating something that is really worth supporting, a book fair. Now, when you say book fair, you know, my favorite people, the people of Kiang, they respect me a lot because they know I'm highly educated. So, yes, they will not deny it. So one of them said, hey, ba mudu sabali karanta ba sai ko book fair, akata fair bukolela. So I was okay. Hello, no. Niko book fair. O manke fair. Kitabol safaroleng, aninka nyose ya nin kitabolula, adun kitabo akumaya tale. I want to pay special tribute to IG Studios, who recently did a fantastic event that brought out the best of our youthful, recognizing them and celebrating them. I think one of the greatest events that I've ever witnessed. Why? Because my wife said so, and if my wife said it's good, then it's world class. And that's why I call her my better. Actually, I'm serious. I'm not praising her. If Jana Batida Sar said something is good, you can take it to Harvard. It will pass the test. So congratulations again, and may Allah bless your work. Pagoy, affaire si game meeting de why best results is girls. Photo exhibition is girls. Book fair is girls. Don't go warna nyo joke de. Mr. Yayu, you are the executive director of the National Youth Council, right? That's how you call it. I think it's about we had a national men's conference. The game is being tilted way against our end of the coin. By the way, I don't like this mic very well. Can you hear me if I use my natural voice? Everybody can hear me. Yeah, that's because I was at this other kind of Jawara conference, and then their PA system is fantastic. Bakadaji, I love your hotel, but just work on this one. I am serious. I don't do. So we're here for a book fair. And I think in an era where virtually nobody is reading books because we are either on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Benen Binakalabu Obi Lambi, TikTok. In that era, I think any serious nation should embark on a journey to promote the culture of writing and reading of books. Why? Because books are important. You see, even the Tubabs believe it's important, so you better take this seriously. One of my favorite ayat in the Quran is in Surah Al-Nisa. Again, that surah is also named after women. Mr. Ya, you don't need to organize this conference. We will never win against these people. It's theirs for the taking. In the chapter of the Quran called An-Nisa, named after the woman or women as it were, Allah says to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those knocking at the door should now keep quiet. Not because now, but because now Allah is speaking. Ya quriya alaykum al-Qur'anu. What does he said, when it's being recited, what should we do? Keep quiet. Somebody said we should shut up. I didn't say it. It's a very big preacher. No, not you. I'm quoting somebody else. But Allah says in the Quran, they are still talking. Now, Fatu, I'm going to wait until they stop talking. After you, Chicago Bulls. I support Miami Heat, by the way. And Allah tells us in the Quran, Inna awhayna ilayka kama awhayna ila Nuhin wa nabiyyina min ba'dihi. Wa awhayna ila Ibrahim wa Ismaila wa Ishaqa wa Yaquba wal asbati wa Isa wa Ayyuba wa Yunus wa Haruna wa Sulaiman wa atayna Dawuda zabura. Allah tells Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we have inspired prophets before you, for we have inspired Noah, and the prophets after him, we inspired Abraham, Ismail, Isaac, Jacob, the tribes, Jesus, Job, Jonah, Aaron, and Solomon. And Allah said, it's the way he ends it, وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ زَبُورًا. And we gave to Prophet David what? The Psalms. That's a book, right? The prophets, they came with what? Nuclear technology or the latest ICT gadgets, or what do they come with? What? Instagram. The prophets come with what? God sends them with what? With books. So books are important, and when they come, do they come to entertain us with books? They come to feed our minds and to transform us. Just like God tells us in the Holy Bible, in Romans 12, verse 2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. How do you renew your mind? You have to read books. Sheikh Hamza Yusuf once famously said that the book is what empowers human beings. There is no human society on the face of the earth that was not founded on a book. And that book, no matter what it is, contains stories. Now, did you hear that? Stories. And that's why we should honor and respect our grandmothers. Again, it's grandmother. Why don't our grandfathers tell us stories? Mr. Yao is getting very interesting. It's a woman's world. Let's just acknowledge and accept and bow down to them in respect. He says, any great society on planet Earth was founded on what? A book or books. What is the great Western civilization without the King James version of the Holy Bible? What is the Arab world, Arabia, and the Muslim world without the Quran? What is Southeast Asia without the Dalailul Khairat? What is Senegal and their great civilization without the legendary Leopold Sédar Senghor? And I mention him as not a man, but a book. For Senghor was not only an author of books, but Senghor was a book. He was the book of Senegal. Now, what is Senegal without Sembène Ousmane, one of the greatest authors, but also movie creators and directors? For Sembène Ousmane was more than a book, he was a library. And if we are to make progress as a nation, we must take the writing and reading of books seriously. If we want to be a serious nation, we must take writing and reading seriously. And those who want to be authors of those books must know that they are embarking on journeys that are not for the faint-hearted. When I started my career of writing around, okay, that makes me feel old, but some 20 years ago, when I wrote my first book, Jangi Jollof, a memoir on the Gambia's first university program, I was talking to my boss and he told me, I don't know what you're about to do, but you should know that writing is a lonely man's occupation. It's not an easy job. And as much as the new age philosophy tells you that anybody can do anything well, yes, I said it too in my book, Instant Success, 10 Keys to Personal Achievement. But if you want to be a writer, you would have to need to cut out some space from the Ebede, from the Sunday Beach, from the Atayavu, to be alone sometimes and read and read and read good books, because you cannot be a good writer if you don't read well. It's go garbage in, garbage out. You cannot be a writer and author worth his or her salt if you don't understand the rules of language, and that is grammar. It is important. Now I see university students and graduates, they say, well, the grammar is not important. It's the message you communicate. How do you communicate a message without following the rules? You think these things are a joke? It's not a joke. Why do people go to universities to study engineering before they become architects? Because if you don't learn it and apply the rules, those buildings will fall on you. Fool yourself and call yourself an author. You don't understand grammar. One day, your grandchild will tell you, Grandma, what was wrong with you? What were you smoking when you were reading this? So we need to take this vacation seriously, because it is a serious profession. It's not a joke. You write a book today, do you know who's going to read that book? Do you know how far that book is going to go? A young man took pictures of my books, Jangi Jollof and Instant Success, in the streets of Manhattan in New York. He was just passing by a bookseller was selling somewhere. Took pictures of them and sent them to me. 5 years ago, I was in Liberia. I met a young guy just going to college reading my book, Instant Success. Now, if I don't write something like Kamara Lai, the African Child, or So Long a Letter, at least I want to make sure my book title does not contain errors. Unfortunately, some of our books do. If you are going to be an author, you're going to be a writer, learn the rules. And just when you think you are the best of the best, that's when you need what? An editor. Editor. It is important. They call me the Gambian pen. The Gambia's pen, by the way. I like to pronounce it right. The Gambia's pen. But even a sentence on Facebook that I'm about to post, sometimes I double check the meanings of words. It's easier now, man. You just highlight this and right click and you just, come on, don't be lazy. At least not you, the authors, not you, the serious ones who want to make a dent in the surface of this universe. You got to be serious about words because they are important. Recently read at the BBC and they were saying that the first ever piece of information technology invented was the written word. The written word, logos. This is important. This is not a joke. You got to take this seriously. And I think we are fortunate as a nation, the Gambia, that we have young people who are so passionate about this, but they need support. Bakari Baji is not here, but Alaji is here. Tell your Minister of Youth and Sports, to tell the Minister of Education, to tell His Excellency the President, that all these budding young authors, they need more support. They need the government to buy these books, education, at least the books that pass the test, because I know they go through a rigorous process before they're approved for the educational system. But sometimes they do all of these efforts, it's approved and then gathers dust. Because if you don't pay the right guy, they don't buy your books. I'm saying that on a hushed tone, then tell them I said that. But the government needs to put in more support for the young people. A nation that reads is a nation with a bright future. A nation that does not read is a nation that is doomed. But for the nation to read, we need material that is relevant and dynamic, material that our young people can connect to. That's what will encourage reading. With all the challenges we have, from Instagram to TikTok to Twitter, we need to encourage the art and habit of reading. Having said that, and cruising onto the kind of material that we're writing for our young people to consume, I think we need to be very careful what we write. Because what these young people are going to read is what is going to determine the kind of lives they are going to live, the kind of adults they are going to be transformed into. And we've become a society where extreme libertarianism is what I am seeing in this country, and it is not good. Ani bankol men mu kafiro luti. Ma for the kind of kafir ni mu misil moti mu kafiro to ma for de. Many alon ko malla dino le malla alala. Kube kuto ibuka song ay finti ila banta baluto ila sidulalto ay finti banta katu ku nyawndi ngollem. Jeno haram tale. Ni bakela imabo. Ni yake ni parita kana jeno ta yake donkiloti wayi molka jibe on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Media houses come will come and interview katu ye denkilole ka jeno ta ka nganyala nyimbanko kan man sakunda be siri nyaba ila na jamano be kasarala. Adu nimma stop be kasarala de. Sex energy is one of the most powerful weapons ever in the history of mankind. But if it is not controlled and guided and molded by set morals and religious principles, it will destroy an entire society. Balafiring wa tambiring wa keta jamani wo jamani sangala sole kana wole ko jamano kasara Gambia be sutiata o temboleto al mamul be diamu kay lafa label be diamu kay lafa bar man sakunda ye lodu la tabang dinding mereng iman sanji mu wan soto ika jeno tay ka nganya lay ka ke donki loti ika tay ka play mo la media houses amanya na kela nyanta dan ñu ko kan. And I talk about music because some of the music that you consume will naturally filter through the words that you write. I do a lot of writing that's culturally rooted, but that's aided by the beautiful melodious lyrics of Jaliba Kuyate, by the sonorous voice of the late Landing Kintiba, Bemba Sise, the late Alaji Babu Samba. They all feed into my soul to make me the writer that I am trying to be. Now, did you hear that? Did I say I'm a writer? I am trying to be a writer. And if you must be one, a good one, you must embrace the ethos of lifelong learning. Don't ever sit down and think you know it all. I don't care if you have 60,000 followers on Facebook like myself, or maybe 10,000 on Instagram. It is not a competition about likes. It's about the quality of the material you produce, something that you should be proud of 5-10 years from now, something that you should be confident that will not misguide and mislead the young generation that are going to consume this. The great sage Alexandra once said, the strength or weakness of a society depends more on the level of its spiritual life than on its level of industrialization. And he goes on to say that if a nation's spiritual energies have been exhausted, it will not be saved by the most perfect government structure or by any industrial development. We need to nurture spiritual authenticity in this country. We need to build a new generation based on our songs and our preachings and our writings, a new generation that is morally rooted, a new generation that does not become slaves to materialism. All this rush to back way, you think it happens overnight? People consuming images, music, reading books that show you that if you don't have a great Gucci sad or if you don't have the latest Ray-Ban, you are nothing. No, that does not determine your value. Young girl, your value is not determined by that Brazilian hair. No, it's not what's on top of your hair. It's what's inside that head. That makes an IG job. That makes a Fatu Kamara Junior. That makes the next star. You got to cultivate your mind, your spirit. That is where it starts. And we all need to continue speaking. I don't know how many minutes you're giving me. I think I did 11. I should stop. But I will never ever speak at any event in this country without talking about the natural disaster, the calamity that's affecting the young people of this country, the treacherous, perilous backway journey. Thousands of Gambians perishing at the Mediterranean Sea because they go into Europe to look forward non-existing jobs. Europe is struggling to employ their own youths, to provide proper housing for their own citizens. You think by arriving there, they'll embrace you and give you the streets of gold? No, it doesn't exist. Rome was not built in a day, and we are all going to Rome. I know it's a very difficult journey here to build a new Gambia. I don't even know whether we've started yet. But we must work hard and walk and learn to walk and wait and be patient. Rome was not built in a day. Beyonce is hitting millions of dollars. Jay-Z, you name them. Who is the next best thing in the music scene? Tell me, I'm old. I'm Buju Bantam School. Give me some. Rima and who? Burna Boy. You think they just made it overnight? No, they slaved this thing for decades. 5-10 years. 8 to 10, 15 hours of practice a day. And then they make it and you think it's a miracle. It's not. Man shall have nothing except that which he or she strives for. You got to walk and not just walk, but walk and wait and be patient. And I am hoping these themes will increasingly be captured in our books, in our short stories, in our poems, the challenges facing our society. The challenge of the back way, youth unemployment, the challenges of fatherless young men and women, the challenge of struggling single mothers who are abandoned by their families and oppressed by their own authorities who are supposed to help them. These need to come out. But that's where the power of fiction comes. Small society, we are all related. If I say something here, Jaju will say, Sabali, this thing was saying, Bakari is talking about you. But how about if you write a poem about Jainaba and Fabakari from Kiang and how they oppress each other? I can call out Bakari without mentioning his name. Try it. I'm a non-fiction guy, but I think we still got a lot of work to do in fiction, and it has great potential to transform our souls, our minds, and even our bodies. Monsieur l'écrivateur, non in français. The author from Senegal, I want to say welcome and thank you. We're very glad to receive you here in the spirit of Senegambianness. I think we need more of these collaborations. And as a nation, I think we still got a lot to learn from Senegal. Senegal can still learn from us, but these kind of collaborations are most welcome. My sister, Gay Nyoro, thank you for the work you're doing to guide and uplift the young people of this country. Sheikh Professor Dr. Dr. Chernomar Bari. My good friend and brother, I'm always happy to see him at events like this. Because we started this business of book launches some 20 years ago, and he's done a lot of service for Gambians and Gambian authors. Batu Kamara, congratulations, and may God bless you on this journey, and may Allah put barakah in this platform so that we create the next Mariama Ba, the next Leopold Sedar Senghor, for God's sake, the next Lenry Peters. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
It's not going. Thank you. It's not going. On it, please. Just my voice. I have common cold, but I hope I'm audible. Is it going now? Yeah. All right. Thank you so very much. Please, a round of applause for Uncle Sam. That was powerhouse. And you know, I just want to highlight a few things. I'm not sure I will go back to everything he had mentioned, but definitely he broke a bone, and some knuckles have to just uproot and fix again. And you know, Africa and I think Gambia as general, we are afraid of people that are truthful. Because any gathering we find ourselves, we sugarcoat everybody. But when we have people that will just hit the bottom and stand firm and say, Jalal Mamela, it's always good to have people like that. I just want to highlight a few things he said, delivering excellence. I don't know how best we can always elaborate on that. When it comes to Gambia, whatever job you have, you believe the foreigner or somebody outside of the Gambia better than the Gambians because excellence is a problem. And I don't also know how best we can just adopt to one thing, work and wait. Gambians and young people are so much in a haste to make it. And most of the time, it's just the impact of social media, the fame, the name, or that's her, or that's him. And my people say that, no, 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 and young people are always in a haste to make it. But I just want to highlight those few things, delivered in excellence. We cannot overemphasize that. It's just very key. I just want to acknowledge the members of the high table. First, Alhaji from Senegal. We want to appreciate your presence. Prof are my personal mentor, of course, who's been always giving me. Alhaji, I'll just give you your time so that I want to introduce you more. All right. The next one I want to acknowledge is Prof, of course, the president of the Young Writers Association of the Gambia, and also the vice chancellor of IOU, one of the renowned authors of both English and French. Right, Dr. Prof. Barry, we acknowledge you, and of course the picture B. I will pass that. Another applause for her, please. And Aladi Daju, the director of NYC, we acknowledge you as well, sir. Thank you so much for coming. And the mother of skill, Auntie Fatu. Thank you so much. By the way, she's also the mother of the event, and she was the mother of my event as well, the last Starving Dreamers exhibition. Thank you so much. Salah Aksina. So before we proceed, we want to just have an interlude for poetry. And then we'll have our next speaker and the first performance. She's going to be reciting a poem for us. Her name is Mati. Guide her young. Where is she? Mati, are you ready for us? Mati, let's encourage her, please.
I love reading books because it takes me to places. Inside, when I look, I see so many faces. Detective stories, there are so many cases. Oh, how I love reading books.
When I am at home, I read 2 to 3 books. My mom says she thinks I am totally hooked. You would be too if you would only look on how I love reading books.
My dad says, Matty, why don't you slow down? There are plenty of books here from the ceiling to the ground. You read them like candy and you Google them by the pound. Oh, how you love reading books.
I find them fascinating, exciting, a tool I learn a lot of things from that I don't learn in school. I would rather read books than learn how to be cool. Oh, how I love reading books.
In these books, I learned so many things. Look at the knowledge that these books can bring. Look at the knowledge that these books can bring. I even read a book that taught me how to sing. Oh, how I love reading books.
So, if someone says that reading books is for boys, they don't know that reading books rocks my world. It lifts me, spends me, sends me to a thrill. Oh, how I love reading books.
If they don't know now, they will know in due time. I will let them read one of my favorite books, and after they read it, they won't be so blind, and they will all say, I love reading books. Thank you.
Much. We hope to have more young poets that will come to the table and just break that knuckles. It's important. Next, we are going to have the only prof in the house, a legendary of English and literature, French. The other one, I don't know. Why is that? It's good. He's the president of the Gambia's Writers Association, Dr. Chodro Omar Bari. You can do better. Audience, come on, you can do better now. A prof, a whole prof.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now that I'm provoked to speak in English, je vais en fait parler en français. À cause de nos invités francophones, que nous voulons souhaiter la bienvenue ici en Gambie, et surtout à ce moment chaleureux, nous voulons lui démontrer que nous sommes des vrais Sénégambiens, que nous avons la possibilité de parler en français et aussi en anglais. Mais surtout, c'est de vous souhaiter la bienvenue, de vous assurer que la collaboration qui a été commencée par Fatou doit rester vraiment une collaboration interculturelle et qui doit nous lier, car nous partageons la même chose, deux pays, un seul peuple. Merci. Okay. Somebody want translation? Okay, you don't need to really get that translation, but I infuse it in my statement. I will first of all greet everyone here, thank everybody here present. For me, it's a great honor and pride to be a part of this event. The honor is because I have been selected to be a speaker. I don't have to be. There are many potential youths today who could stand by in my position and speak probably far better than me and maybe even say things that are more contemporary to the youths. But the honor of coming here in my position as the president of the Writers Association makes me really proud. And the pride is because we have a very young, talented lady, young and talented, who is initiating something extremely important. And very important, I would say, because the fact that we have our Senegalese counterparts involved in this shows that really she is seen beyond the borders of the Gambia. And we commend her for it, for the initiative, for the dream, and we assure her that we will continue to support her all through the way. Because this is something we dream of, and we are hoping that it will grow bigger as the years go by. So I'm hoping it's going to be an annual event, and I'm sure by the time the next one comes, we will be in a much bigger hall and many, many books to have to share so that we get to understand them. So what should I speak about? I'm going to be a little testing here. And I'm going to throw in a little test to you. Because if you people want to come here at a book fair, my assumption is that you know some books. So tell me, give me the names of two ladies. One who wrote in the 1960s the first play that promoted girls' education in the Gambia. It's a woman. And tell me the second older lady who wrote very recently about promoting girls' welfare and promoting her to go to school. If you know these two answers, you will get $800 on the spot. So is it true? I'm giving you 3 minutes and 3 minutes. The clock is ticking. I'll continue speaking, I'll still give it to you, and I'll give you some other information. Now, first, in 2005, when I started doing my PhD on comparative literature, what interested me most was, has Gambia got literature? This has been a question that has been discussed in many other platforms. Many other people even wrote about it. And it has been a question that was kept hanging. Has Gambia got Gambian literature? Have we got really books that have been written by Gambians? So I decided to do extensive research. And in the early 2000s, I'm so Honorable Sabali and many of those of our age probably will remember, I started publishing every week a full page, A3 page, about the discovery of Gambian literature. Because I felt it was a challenge and we needed everybody to know about it. So I wrote almost 50 articles on every writer of that time. About 50 articles. So in short, I can remember almost every writer up to maybe 2005, 2010. But what is important to note at this stage is that, as Honorable Sabali said, writing was not something that we wanted to take up. If you understand the history of literature, African literature in general, it has always been driven by a purpose. You mentioned Leopold Sedar Senghor. I'm sure our Francophone people will agree that the negritude, that was the motivation in the very early 1900s, during the time when African Francophone countries were under colonialism, was meant to break the shackles of colonialism. And what was the purpose of the negritude? Was probably not always to attack the colonizer, but to valorize the culture of the African. To show that, yes, if the colonizer doesn't understand that we have culture, why don't we show that then we have culture? And as a result of this, you have the people like Aimé Césaire, you have the people like Leopold Sedar Senghor, Léon Gontran Damas, and a host of other colonial writers who decided to embark on what we call the negritude. So there are a lot of books, and these were very important because they sensitize people about the fact that Africa has some values that they can promote. Now, the Anglophone speakers decided to take it from a different angle. But before we continue there, you have to understand how colonialism was different between the Francophones and the Anglophones. Because the motivation for the Francophones to write the negritude was because the Francophones' way of colonialism was assimilation. What is assimilation? Assimilation means to inculcate in you the Francophone culture through language, through school, so that you are going to think French, you are going to act French, you are going to behave French, and you are going to sleep, eat, drink French. And how did that succeed? It succeeded finally by creating Francophones or French people out of the black communities. In most of the Francophone countries, they have lost completely their culture, except for West Africa. If you go beyond West Africa, most of the other Francophone countries lost their cultures and adopted completely lock, stock, and barrel. Is that the way they say it? The whole of the culture of the Francophone. Now, like if you go to Congo, Congolese. Now, if you come to Senegal, what happened? Senegal accepted the assimilation, but valorized the culture. That's why in Senegal, you find what we call a dichotomy. You will find this Senegalese who is very Francophone, but you find this Senegalese who is very Senegalese. You know what I mean? You know, he loves the Senegalese, the Senegalese culture and all that, but you also find that other Senegalese who is très Francophone, who speaks only French, who eats only things that come from France, the fromage, le vin, and all that. And to demonstrate that, you mentioned one of the writers, Sembène Ousmane decided when he started writing his book. By the way, Sembène Ousmane didn't go to school. He studied French at the docks of Marseille in France. He was an autodidact. He taught himself to learn French. He was going to classes at night, and that's how he learned French. He couldn't speak French and write French at the time. He's from Casamance. So when he could read and write, he decided that he must expose some of the ills of our own people, the way we have adopted certain lives. But he started writing them, and then he started even writing about social issues. But he realized his target population were all people who were who are in school, who have gone to school. So he said, no, I'm not only going to write the books. I'm also going to transform every book I wrote into a movie. So he started publishing his first movie in 1968 called Manda B. For those who don't know, go and Google it. You can even watch it, I think, on YouTube now. Called Manda B. It was filmed in 1968. Now, let me come back to Hala. If you watch Hala online, you will realize that Abdul Kader Bey, the man who is part of the senior government officers, decided that he's never going to drink water that came from Senegal. He was so colonized, so assimilated, that even his car, the Mercedes-Benz he was given by government, should have water that comes from France. So he only puts Evian water in his car. So all these things to demonstrate to you. Yes, Galawar is a much more radical movie. It has everything to do with ñenenti loxo bu talal, ñenti baram bu joxoñ, the butali bobu ñaan la. Huh? So in other words, what Semben did was to create a revolution in the literary space. But let me come back to women writers, because we didn't mention them, and more specifically to the Gambia. Before I leave Senegal, because we are now into the Senegambia zone, I want to mention one particular woman who I discovered in 1981 in Form 1 when I was doing literature. And she wrote The Beggar's Strike. Who is she? Oh, okay. 1981, it doesn't mean that you don't know the book. The book is still existing. The title of the book in French is called La Grève d'Embatu. And the lady is called Aminata Sofal. She's still alive. Now, Aminata Sofal wrote The Beggar's Strike, which was a very, very pertinent book that just seduced me because it has everything to do with the culture of beggars within a town and how we perceive the beggars and how we treat the beggars. But also because in cultures, giving alms has everything to do with the way we perceive our lives. In the morning, somebody will go out and meet a woman and say, hey, no, because, if I go outside, I will be doomed. I will have nothing. You have heard that, right? Okay. Because I don't want to spend the whole day speaking. What I want to drive at is writing is an important element of our lives. And all these writers, the Sheikh Amirou Kans, who wrote Aventure Ambigu, the Usman Sembens in Senegal, coming to the Gambia, the many other writers, I'm sure you know about Len Repeaters, Tijan Sala, and Greg Johnson, and a host of others, have all written because they wanted to capture a moment in our lives, transform it into a book, and leave it here for posterity for us to keep discovering. Who are the two women I made reference to? If you know, you got your 800, and I'm even increasing to $1,000. You don't know. The first woman who wrote that book I mentioned, the book is called Rebellion. Actually, it was not even a book, it was a play. It's called Rebellion. You still don't know? She was, yes. Yeah, you can try. Now I'm going to reduce the money because I've already given you some hints. You cannot get 1,000 for free. Yes. Correct. Yeah, I'll give you $400. And I'm surprised that you people don't know Hannah Augusta Jawara. She is the first lady in this country, ever. Married to Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara. Yes. Lady Anna Augusta Jawara is actually Lady Anna Augusta Mahoney. She is related to the husband of Dr. Florence Mahoney, who is called Dr. John Mahoney. And their father was called Sir John Mahoney, the first speaker of the National Assembly in the Gambia in history. But Lady Augusta Jawara wrote Rebellion. Rebellion is a play that promotes education of girls. And this play was written in 1968. And it was played in Senegal, and it even won the prize at the manifestation cultural organized by Leopold Sedar Senghor at the time. So yes, we should clap for that. And I'm emphasizing, it's a woman who promoted the education of girls in 1968. Can you imagine? Now this fight is being fought just less than 10, 15 years ago, and we imagine it's new. It's not new. The other lady, who probably most of you don't see, is a young lady. She's around, and I would encourage you, I give you her name to encourage you to keep inviting her. She's excellent in writing, but she's very shy, and she's always in the shadows. She's called Sadi Singate. How many of you know her? No, actually she worked for UNICEF at some point. Sadi Singate wrote several books, and I love all of them. They are all excellent. She writes very, very well. She was the communication officer, in fact, at UNICEF at some point for a period. But the book in question, which is called The Sun Will Soon Shine, is a book trying to protect or promoting a girl who is being deprived of her education by forcing her into early marriage and to a very old man, you understand, in a village community. So she was trying to fight that, and then she wrote it up in the book. Now, I will conclude by giving you just several things that you need to know, which is very important in my view. Writing in the Gambia is very difficult. Very. Because the problem is, first of all, we have a very small market. If you want to think of writing to get money, forget it. You might as well go and sell nyambe nyebe. Or you do what my Fula guys do, Peter Cola. And by the way, be careful. The one who is selling that plate of Peter Cola, you see that this is insignificant. You give him a year, he's going to build a shop. The next year, he's going to be buying a nice car, driving around, you get angry with him. Why was selling Peter Cola, for heaven's sake? Okay, coming to the most serious point. If you want to write a book to look for money, forget. If you want to write a book because you are passionate to change, to exchange something, you are passionate to share something that people will need to read and remember in the future, yes, write with passion. And this is what we promoted more than 20 years ago when we were young, not adolescent, but at least above adolescent, when we were young, just university students. So we thought we need to help the young writers to write. I remember some of the first young people we helped, like people like Mary Wada, who we helped to write Jan, which is a very short story, but we also helped many other women to write at the time. But because we have a very small readership, people find it difficult to market their books. But that is not all. People are into self-publishing. And I will now support Honorable Sabali's words where self-publishing is one of the biggest challenges. Because self-publishing is easy. You write a story, you give it to your brother, he reads it. You give it to your uncle, he reads it. They say, oh, sorry, binehna, rafenna, character ibahnañ, and then you take it direct to the print and you publish it inside and say, okay, you've got a book. You have not got a book. What you might have produced is garbage, but maybe you don't know. And now I'm going to be very, very blunt about it because this is an occasion to be blunt about it. If you produce garbage, you will remain for the rest of your life regretting producing garbage. If you want your book to be good, you have to give it a rigorous editing, a rigorous copy editing, a rigorous proofreading. And you cannot give it to your brother or your uncle or your sister or even an English teacher. Some of them don't know how to edit books. We don't have many editors here, but you have to give it serious editing. I have been privileged to edit some books of few young writers here. I will never mention their name because I didn't do it for anything else, for glory, but I know they have published their books and I'm very proud of it. But I'm telling you one thing, if you do not edit your books properly and you don't capture the language, it's not only about correcting the grammar. Listen carefully. Editing a book is not about correcting the grammar. It's about visualizing your train of thoughts, the way you have developed your characters, the way you have evolved your story towards the end. You don't know those techniques. You will write, but you don't know those techniques. Do you understand? To give you an example, if you know Nana Gray Johnson, right? You know him. You know he has published many, many, many books. And you have no doubt that he's an excellent speaker. When he wrote The Magic Calabash, he published it in the Gambia locally. So when the time we started our association of authors and writers, I had the privilege of being in contact with Macmillan. And then we decided to promote Gambian writers to be published by international companies. Then we have Uncle Theophilus George, who was running Macmillan Gambia. So we insisted we wanted at least Nana Gray Johnson's book, one of them, to be published by them. So they agreed. And then we started the Magic Calabash to be reviewed by them. When they did the first review, I mean the copy, the editing and everything, and they brought the book back to Nana Gray Johnson, he asked them, where is my book? He said, this is not my book. They said, yes, this is your book, because they cut off a lot of wordy things, some narrations, some descriptions that are irrelevant, that will not make the book read well, that will not make it, appreciated by a lot of readers. They cut most of that. And he was baffled. He thought that he has written an excellent story. He published it locally. Everybody seemed to love it. But that was not the right book. It was not a book. So he had to accept, finally, that the revised, edited version is the better version of his own book. You ask him. Anytime you call him here, he will tell you. So what we are driving at is, right, please do. We encourage you to. But please, do not rush into getting in the market just to get a name. It's easy to get the name. It's much more difficult to take this stain out of the horrible comments that might come out from professionals when they realize your book is garbage. That stain will remain forever. And not only when you are alive, it will remain in generations to come, when your children and children and children will be saying, can mo bina book here by book be I'm not kiko bina how malan boko jot. That of don't man there, that's embarrassing. That's a shame. So please write, but please do not rush to publish until you are certain that your work is really of standard and it can pass the test of time and it can pass beyond your borders. Listen, you are not writing to your friend. You are not writing for your school to be happy you have written. You are not writing for your English teacher to be happy that you have written an English book. Please, you must write because you want to put something on paper, but you want it to remain for posterity. That's very important. But I accept that in Gambia, we don't have publishing houses. So the only person that everybody knows is who? Fode Balde. He's an excellent man, really. I mean, he has created an opportunity for so many writers in this country. So we commend him for that. I mean, we are blessed that we have Fode Balde. If there was no Fode Balde, I don't know what we would have done. So we thank him really for supporting writers. But remember, it is not enough. By the way, do you know Sanden Publishers? Who knows Sanden Publishers? Raise your hand. Honorable Sabali created Sanden Publishers in the 2000s. But it didn't continue because publishing is a very tedious responsibility. It's a very complicated job. And we also have Sunrise Publishers that is created by anti-President Sonko Godwin for high history books because there was no publishing house. And we have many of those. The most recent that we would probably consider of international standing is Global Hands Publishing. That has started recently. For you, some of you remember, it was the one that published Alaji Seidi Barrow's book, The Dictator Is Us. And last year, around this time, around December, it was launched at the theater at Ebunja. That book has sold more books than I can even remember any author has ever sold. And what it means is that it is not only in the writing, but it's also in the publishing. The publishing is important. By the time we finish with Alaji Seidi Barrow, because I'm part of those who who are managing Global Hands Publishing, by the time we finished with Alaji Seidi Barrow, it took us almost a year with him. And the man was frustrated. He said, okay, I'm going to publish it elsewhere. I said, fine. But by the time we had to go and do the editing, the proofreading, the cutting here and cutting there, but the moment the book was online, everybody wanted to buy it because it was good reading. You could read it nicely. You will be happy reading it. So what we are trying to drive at is publishing houses are not in the Gambia, but it's necessary to be careful of how you go about publishing your book. It is important we do training for young writers. So if this book fair is going to give us an opportunity, the Writer Association is also willing to collaborate and train young writers so that you will understand some of the basic skills of writing. How do you develop your character? How do you develop your plots? How do you create environments where, conversations can be beautiful to read between your characters in a particular setting? How do you avoid being wordy? Sometimes you love to write so much so that you keep writing and writing and writing, and it becomes wordy. Wordy means somebody will read until they are bored, and they will throw your work away. So all these things are important to note. It's not only good to write, but it's very important to know how to write well. And then eventually, you need to distribute and market your books. Yes, I agree to some, FTI existed some point in the Gambia where Gambian writers were reviewed, and then the government will give them a lot of money so that those books will become what we call supplementary reading. I, for one, I am against any writer writing a good book in this country and the book is not recommended immediately to the school. It is not supplementary reading, no. It must be primary literature book to be read and studied by a teacher who understands literature and teach the students that book. Because, look, Chinua Achebe wrote Things Fall Apart. But do you know how he was able to get it published? When he took it to the UK, somebody looked at that crap and said, look, who will ever want to read this book? And then dump it somewhere to collect dust. And at the time, there was no WhatsApp, there was no internet, there was no, even telephone conversations are difficult to get. But the man fought for a year or so until he finally withdrew it there and then gave it to Heinemann series. And Heinemann series decided to give it to an African, kind of group and say, okay, verify, and if you think it's good, you'll just publish. But when they published that book, when the readership started growing and interest started growing, because they were in a way discovering Africa through that book. And Okonko became the Okonko name in every corner, of discussion. What did they do? Those who rejected the book came and started soliciting negotiations and all that. And the same thing happened to J.K. Rowling when she wrote Harry Potter. For those of you who don't know, you thought that Harry Potter is a movie. No, it wasn't a movie. It was a book. For heaven's sake, those who don't know, wake up. And J.K. Rowling was a primary school teacher. She wrote Harry Potter. She got difficulties getting it published. Anywhere she took it, they say, what? This is crap. What are you out of your mind? This is not even part of the world. Who will want to read this? But the moment Harry Potter hit the streets, every publisher wanted to publish the next edition. I was in the UK in 2005. And I was walking around and I saw a long queue in front of a bookshop. I asked, what are these people doing here? They said they were buying Harry Potter. Which Harry Potter? The next edition. I joined the queue. Because I love reading. I love reading. In fact, let me tell you the worst story. I was teaching in Marina School in 2000. And one of the students was reading a book under the table. And I was teaching French. And people think French is always boring to students, by the way. So I was trying to make sure everybody in Marina listens to my French class. But this guy is just adamant to read something under the book table. So I decided to walk casually like that up to, and then I said, hey, what are you looking at reading? Are you reading a book? Are you crazy? And I seized the book. And I told the guy, you are not going to receive the book till after school. So then after my class, I went to my office. And then everybody, he's still in class. So I went and started to flip through the book. And I saw that it is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So, and then I flipped on the first page. I read. And then it took me to the second page. And it took me to the third page. And I decided to keep the book. When the guy came and asked for the book, I said, I'm going to punish you. I've seen it for 1 week. I'm seizing the book for 1 week. Why do you think that book was interesting? It was good writing. It was good imagination. So it started transporting me into worlds I want to discover. Imaginary worlds. I first Harry Potter from that book. I'm hoping that I can't even remember the student now, but if I see him, I'm going to buy him all the Harry Potter series if he wants. What I'm driving now is I want to commend the organizers. Book fairs are very important, but you need to discover your Gambian writers. That's the first thing you need to know. You need to discover the writers of your countries that are very close. Senegal to start with, and the Francophone, Anglophone writers. And you need to learn to read other books. Please, you cannot be a good writer if you are not reading. And if you remember, I was at the book launch of Safia to Juve, and I had 5 minutes more than I'm having now. And okay, I'm timed now. And then they asked me, I said, I'm going to give you 3 advices. Read, read, and read. Because the problem with us today is that we are reading crap and want to write well. We cannot. We are reading crap. It's boring to read good books. But you have to read good books. It's boring to read, really, people like, if I tell you to read Alfred Tennyson, if I tell you to read Robert Frost, you think I'm a mad guy. Because those kinds of poetry look too boring to you. If I even ask you to read Shakespeare, You say, "But they don't even speak that language again." But you see, if you don't read those books and try to understand the styles of writing, try to understand what sonnets are, the iambic parameters are, and all those crazy things, it will not give you what we call the cultural baggage, the linguistic baggage that you need to use when you are now writing good books. Otherwise, you will write garbage, and you will publish garbage, and you will last forever in your life regretting having published garbage. Thank you very much. Salam alaikum.
I think that's a challenge for us to know some of our important people, especially authors, so that we can find more inspiration. Gambia has challenge and has the people that are living in it. I love that statement. And I don't know how best we could connect to that, but it's very important that we know our people, especially those that are doing great. Up next, we are going to be having poetry performance by Ibrahima Jallo, The Gate of Pen. Are you ready? Are you set for us? Let's encourage him.
Thank you so much, Fatu, for inviting me. Indeed, you are an iron lady, and a lot of youths out there are looking up to you. Yeah. Greetings, everyone. My name is Ibrahima Jallo, commonly known as the Ghetto Pen, Mr. Peace and Love. Yeah. Currently, this country is mourning, because we have hundreds, if not thousands of youths who lost their lives in the back way, right? Which is so sad. So in spite of this, a lot of youths or even thousands out there are like, ñun very core with your hearts, you said Nakara, because in fact, you do a Babylon. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, was forced to choose the back way. It's nepotism, hardship, and sufferation, day after day. So one fateful day, I decided the back way. Yes, the dark, horrible, and deadly way. Since Skullfish leaders are the ones captaining the ship, I have no option but to dodge them ship and choose to sail in the rubber boat. Optimistic that, God willing, man will enter and unlock the poverty code. We are poorer and richer is the culture. Truth is, there is no bright future. So why shouldn't I seek for a greener pasture? Yes, it's risky, but life is all about taking risks. So you got to open your doors with your own keys. I would rather escape gunshots or choose to be a desert pedestrian or even die in the Mediterranean than to only listen to the stories narrated about the European. Could you imagine? $50 is equivalent to €1? Surely, me or you in Europe is from zero to hero. 12-month savings will be my 1-hour earnings. Tips received is what I will spend on feeding and clothing. Here, the salary earnings shows that we are sinking. So it's better to choose drowning. Was forced to choose the back way, so I'm going. Thank you.
Thank you so much, The Gate of Pen. That was powerful and emotional at some point. Thank you so much. We want to acknowledge our sponsors. Tisha, are you here? Also on the display. Climate Change by Mbai Haja, The Serious Threat of Africa. Very key, very important. Collections of poems and series of motivation and inspiration by Fatmata Mba. We appreciate all of these authors. And Anika Kambo, The Flames Riders. Better read this book. And the last one is The Deadlet Republic by Anika Kimbo as well. Grab these books and be inspired. Thank you also very much. At this point, we want to call our uncle, our father, the finest publisher and author from all the way from Senegal. Let's give a round of applause to Alhaji Omar Mansal. Thank you. We have the podium. You're welcome to the Gambia. Please, let's encourage him, right? Let's go,
I will speak French. So if somebody speak English, I understand, but I have problem to explain myself in English. But I'm just trying to learn in order to strengthen my level. With Fatou. Donc, je suis Elhadji Omar Massali, je suis auteur, éditeur, panafricain, journaliste, collaborateur de Jeune Afrique. Et puis, je suis invité ici par Fatou, que je remercie pour cette belle initiative. Donc, oui, oui. D'accord, super. Wow. Bon, dégg naa wolof, dégg naa soose aussi nga ma ni nga kaw mooy le fana. Voilà. Donc voilà, je suis très content. Je veux parler en français pour qu'il y ait un équilibré dans mon ligne, quoi, parce qu'il y a anglais seulement. Donc on va équilibrer un peu. Alors, je suis très ravi de participer à cet événement grandiose qui réunit en fait des hommes de culture, qui réunit également des jeunes qui sont passionnés de littérature et de la culture. Je voudrais à cette occasion féliciter Fatou Camara, que j'ai connu il y a quelques mois, qui est venu à Dakar nous rencontrer, et que j'ai tout de suite apprécié parce que je voyais qu'on avait la même vision concernant l'écriture et la même vision concernant l'Afrique. J'ai vu en elle aussi une femme très engagée pour des causes nobles, notamment pour la formation, pour l'éducation. Et c'est pourquoi, quand elle nous a parlé de cet événement, nous avons tenu de participer, de quitter Dakar pour venir ici en Gambie. Donc, je suis venu avec un de mes auteurs, M. Ak, qui est là, qui a écrit le livre Changement climatique, qu'on a traduit en anglais. Donc, Climate Change, et puis qui est un grand expert en énergie, avec plus de 30 ans d'expérience, qui a travaillé aussi pour Sonatel Sénégal depuis des années, et qui a tenu aussi à être là avec moi pour présenter son ouvrage en anglais. Après avoir salué cette initiative, je voudrais en fait revenir un peu sur l'importance de la littérature. Parce que j'ai écouté en anglais votre communication, Mr. Ministre. J'ai compris en fait le sens de votre communication. Et tout de suite, j'ai vu que nous avons justement les mêmes visions, les mêmes analyses de la situation de l'écriture. Et j'ai été aussi très, très séduit par votre grande culture littéraire avec les auteurs sénégalais que vous avez cités, notamment Senghor, notamment Samben Ousmane. Voilà, je découvre de grands hommes qui sont très cultivés. Alors, je voudrais dire en fait que la littérature a joué un rôle déterminant en Afrique, notamment pour la décolonisation. Parce que vous savez que l'Afrique a connu en fait la colonisation et le système, notamment français pour beaucoup d'autres pays aussi, les colons qui étaient venus, souvent ils avaient un système, en tout cas chez nous, le système francophone, c'était bâti sur ce que le président de l'association des auteurs appelle l'assimilation. On sait que la France a bâti son projet colonial sur l'assimilation. Mais quand nos grands-parents ont été à l'école, ils ont été formés, après ils ont compris en fait qu'il faut mener un combat de souveraineté douce. Donc il y a eu le mouvement de la négritude avec les Senghor, avec Léon Gautrat-Dama, avec des gens comme Césaire, en fait, qui est aussi quelqu'un de très engagé. Et puis, ce combat-là, c'est un combat qui a permis aux Africains qui étaient en France à l'époque d'assumer, en fait, leur africanité et en fait, de réclamer leur négritude. Parce que le mot nègre était péjoratif au début. On le disait pour faire mal aux Blancs, aux Noirs. Mais après, un jour, Senghor et Césaire étaient au jardin, au quartier latin, et Senghor lui dit Césaire, il est temps que nous réclamions notre négritude. Donc, c'est là que le mot est venu et le concept a été créé au quartier latin. Et comme le dit Senghor en définissant la négritude, c'est l'acceptation et l'assumation qu'on est noir. Donc, notre statut de noir, comment on va essayer d'assumer cela d'abord? Comme nous l'avons en Wolof, enracinement et ouverture, madame, d'angay enraciné d'abord. Il y a bon son, il y a long follow. Après, pour y ouverture sur le pour les autres. Donc, si on a parlé d'enracinement, il faut s'enraciner sur d'abord ce qu'on est dans notre culture, s'enraciner dans notre croyance. Et pour s'enraciner, ce qui est d'abord fondamental, c'est le fait d'accepter ce qu'on est. Parce que si on n'accepte pas ce qu'on est, on ne peut pas assumer ce qu'on est pour pouvoir s'ouvrir aux autres. Et si on n'accepte pas ce qu'on est, on va être victime d'un complexe. Et ce complexe-là va amener ce qu'on appelle le complexe d'infériorité. Donc, et c'est ce complexe d'infériorité parce qu'au début, les Blancs, d'autres pensaient une certaine supériorité des Blancs sur les Noirs, alors qu'après, les Cheikh Anta Diop ont démontré ça. Donc, avant la décolonisation, il y a eu un grand combat qui a été mené par des intellectuels africains. Et l'écriture a occupé une place importante dans ce combat-là. Donc, quand vous regardez même la littérature africaine, c'est scindé en 3 périodes. Il y a ce qu'on appelle la période de consentement. Il y a ce qu'on appelle la période de désenchantement et la période de contestation de l'ordre colonial. Donc, la période d'enchantement, c'est quoi? C'est qu'à l'époque, nos auteurs ne critiquaient pas beaucoup, en fait, les Occidentaux. Toute la littérature à l'époque était centrée sur la valorisation de la culture africaine. Donc, quand vous voyez des auteurs comme Abdoulaye Sadji, Nini la Minatresse, vous voyez Kamara Lai, l'enfant noir, vous voyez en fait des gens comme Amadou Mabate Diagne, Les 3 volontés de Malik, et tous ces livres revenaient sur ce qu'on appelle pour valorisation de la culture africaine, parce que c'est des livres qui vont revenir sur la culture, sur les rites, etc., etc. Mais c'est à partir de 1960 que nous avons participé à ce qu'on a appelé dans la littérature la période de contestation de l'ordre colonial. Donc, on parle de littérature de contestation. Et cette période de contestation a été marquée par quoi? Par des auteurs qui ont, pour la plupart, étudié en France et qui ont décidé, en fait, de pouvoir rétablir le regard sur l'Afrique. C'est-à-dire que donner des justificatifs d'abord sur un regard qui n'est pas équilibré, un regard qui est souvent, qui essaie de montrer un peu les jours sombres de l'Afrique et qui essaie de taire, en fait, cette lumière qui est l'Afrique. Et comment, en fait, d'abord, ces auteurs ont critiqué le système colonial, qui était un système qui était basé sur l'injustice, mais qui, au fond, prêche, en fait, la justice, parce que quelqu'un comme, en fait, le livre de Samben Ousmane, en fait, et beaucoup d'autres sont venus sur cette question-là, et que la France et l'Occident ne doivent pas être notre centre de gravité, en fait. C'est-à-dire qu'aujourd'hui, il faut que les Africains puissent penser à partir d'eux-mêmes, partir de leur pensée, partir de ce qui est là, en fait, comme ressource pour pouvoir penser l'Afrique. Donc, cette période de contestation a vu naître beaucoup d'écrivains qui ont critiqué le système colonial. L'un des plus célèbres, c'est Kourouma, en fait, Kourouma qui a beaucoup écrit, voilà, sur les indépendances, et dont la critique était centrée sur 2 choses, sur d'abord nous, Africains, notre manière de gérer, et les autres, parce que Kourouma pense qu'il ne faut pas toujours indexer les autres. Parce qu'il faut d'abord indexer nous, les Africains, entre nous qui se battent, et puis après indexer les autres. Parce qu'après la période de contestation, les Blancs sont partis. Les colons sont partis. On nous a donné nos pays. Mais on a vu après que c'était pire. Parce que ce qu'on disait d'eux, on voyait, nous, Africains, nous-mêmes faire cela. Donc, la littérature africaine a eu à traverser ces trois périodes-là. Donc, on voit que nous avons une littérature qui est engagée. On voit que nous avons une littérature qui a contribué à l'édification et au développement de l'Afrique. Alors, nous, Elma Édition Afrique, nous avons créé notre maison d'édition partant d'un constat très simple. Parce que j'ai écouté un peu les problématiques que vous évoquez dans le cadre de l'édition. C'est vrai, ça existe un peu dans beaucoup de pays africains. C'est vrai qu'au Sénégal, on est un peu à l'avance. Mais quand vous regardez, vous avez parlé de qualité des textes, par exemple. Il y a de grandes maisons d'édition au Sénégal. Quand je prends grande, c'est par rapport à la connaissance, en fait, la publicité, quoi, comme Harmattan. Mais il y a toujours ces problèmes-là qui reviennent. Donc, c'est un défi, en fait, qu'il faut relever. Et c'est pourquoi nous avons pensé à lancer une maison d'édition panafricaine. D'abord, pour régler un problème. Le premier problème à régler, c'est que l'Afrique doit aujourd'hui aller vers des éditions transfrontalières. C'est-à-dire que ne pas être dans des éditions nationales, comme Gambie, Sénégal. Non, il faut qu'on aille vers des éditions transfrontalières, au-delà des pays. Parce que c'est ce qui va nous permettre de tirer le secteur de l'industrie et en faire de l'industrie culturelle et en faire une des plus grandes industries. Et c'est pourquoi nous avons justement, pour ce premier point, créé notre maison d'édition. Et le deuxième point, c'est pour créer un creuset, une sorte de think tank qui permettra aux penseurs, aux écrivains africains de pouvoir contribuer selon les thématiques de l'heure et selon les thématiques, en fait, qui intéressent le continent, pour pouvoir, en fait, non seulement attirer l'attention des chefs d'État africains, des Africains eux-mêmes, parce que la première responsabilité incombe aux Africains. Donc, attirer leur attention sur d'abord des questions notamment économiques, sociales et environnementales, mais aussi leur permettre de pouvoir penser l'Afrique de manière très équilibrée. Parce qu'on a vu qu'il y a beaucoup de penseurs à l'Occident qui ont pensé l'Afrique et ils ont eu un regard qui n'est pas un regard équilibré. C'est-à-dire qu'ils ont donné leur point de vue, d'autres n'ont même pas été ici en Afrique pour savoir en réalité qu'est-ce qui se passe. Donc aujourd'hui, si nos intellectuels écrivent, ils pourront en fait restituer cette réalité-là. Donc c'est aussi pourquoi en fait nous avons lancé cette maison d'édition panafricaine qui a 6 collections. Et je reviens largement là-dessus dans une interview peut-être que je vais accorder à la presse en anglais, où on va détailler de manière à expliquer de façon très claire la vision de cette maison d'édition-là pour permettre aux populations de la Gambie, aux auteurs et éditeurs de pouvoir comprendre l'enjeu. Mon dernier mot, c'est de dire qu'en fait, l'Afrique est à la croisée des chemins, donc il y a beaucoup de défis à relever et ces défis sont nombreux. Et donc, en fait, nous pensons en réalité que les intellectuels, justement, doivent jouer un rôle déterminant pour relever ces défis-là. Les éditeurs doivent créer le cadre qu'il faut pour pouvoir permettre à ces penseurs-là de penser l'Afrique, pour pouvoir corriger l'état et pour pouvoir changer le regard. Donc, je vous remercie de votre...
The display as well, and the famous God of War by the iconic Safiati, all the way here. You can always grab a book and support these authors. And now to our special guest and our special guests that are already on board. First is Lady Fatu of S&R Catering. Thank you so much for joining us. A round of applause while I call their names, please. The next is Fatu Nyana Njai, manager of S Station. Thank you so much for coming. This is our special guest, Alaji Kamara. Thank you so much for joining. Sister of the day, of course, Lady Fatu Jabang, the CEO of Flex Fusion Entertainment and Dance Academy. Thank you so much for coming. Honorable Bakri Baji, I think it's represented by Alhaji Jaju for NCAC. Thank you so much, National Youth Council. And our guest of honor, of course, is Honorable Madi Silla, Information Service Department for the Gambia. Thank you for joining us. Our special guest, of course, is Boubacar Keta, General Manager for Fire Protect Gambia Limited. Thank you for joining us. Mother of the Day, Fatou Sen Gay, CEO of Gay Njora Skill Academy. Thank you so much for joining. Special guest as well, Tida DK Baji, a journalist and an entrepreneur. Thank you for joining us. A special guest is also Sue Fai, the older sister in the house. Thank you for joining us. Sue is a mentor and a founder of President Tech for All Gambia. Our next special guest is Njai Sune. Njai Susune. Sasune. Njai Sasune. My apologies for that. Thank you. He's also one of our special guests. Another special guest is Yusuf Tyro. Is a journalist and a Gynako online news media. Another guest, of course, is Suleiman Ba. Suleiman Ba, a young Ali Wali, an artist and manager and international modern coordinator for event producer. Ali, Mr. Ali, thank you so much for joining. Usman Rahman, the general manager for DEX Logistics, the Gambia. Thank you for joining. Yusfa Jata, 360, social media influencer. Thank you for joining. Modu Sanyang, marketing officer for GRTS, the only national state broadcast. Yomo Wali, a fashion and a craft consultant. Thank you so much, sis, for joining. The founder of Jalima Habela, Fatumane. Thank you for joining. The icons of CIF. Serina Aliujaju, blogger and a political activist. Thank you for joining. Nay Oli Tal, of course, an international model and a fashion icon. Thank you for joining. Say Ture, the charity board manager for the welfare of children with Down syndromes, the Gambia. Thank you for joining. Another special guest is Mr. Lamin Tamba, Pan-Africanist. Thank you so much for joining. And up next, we are going to poetry performance by Baby Aisha, Guide Her Young. Baby Aisha, you set for us? Baby Aisha? We're running out of time. We cannot wait for any performance. Where is Baby Aisha, please? Baby Aisha, are you here? All right, we're moving. Up next, we have the representative for National Youth Council, Alaji Jaju, the director of National Youth Council. Please take the floor. All the speakers, please note that I'm giving you a 5 minutes. We want to wrap up. We want to wrap up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam MC. You've given me 5 minutes. I'll endeavor to take less than 5 minutes. I think the most important personalities for today's fair have spoken. Honorable Sabali, the best that you can get to really encourage and motivate young people in this country, especially young writers, our colleague from Senegal, and of course, Dr. Barry. I think they have all spoken and really given you the advice that is needed if you want to be great writers for today and certainly for posterity. Despite the ugly stories of unemployment and migration, or irregular migration, this country's young people have a lot to celebrate. You look at the creative industry today. You have a lot of our young people that are doing great events. Last week or so, we had a book launch. We had the Sadara Karabai Jora Conference Center packed full. Probably 15 years ago or 20 years ago, if you tell me a book launch can have 200 people present, I would have doubted. We organize poetry events. The Benjamin Hall is packed full. Few years ago, if you tell me someone will organize a poetry event and the Benjamin Hall will be full, I think all of us would have doubted that. But the Benjamin Hall, despite its capacity, probably of 1,000 or more, young people are feeling it. The Independence Stadium was only filled by Yusundur. We have our young artists daneling the entire stadium, filling it to the brink. You look at our young tailors. You go to our trade fairs. You see what young people of this country are showcasing. All we want to say here in my capacity representing the Honorable Minister and, of course, Executive Director of the National Youth Council, is to really assure you that these things, these potentials are recognized. And as a government, I think the onus really lies there to ensure that these young people are supported, promoted, and given the necessary support to be where they want to be. Such that we continue to really create millionaires in a lot of these industries as other countries are doing, be it in the music industry, in the arts, in the fashion, whatever in those industries. We are really able to create that wealth that is going to attract young people to stay in this country and really make it. Honorable Sabile has mentioned some of us that go out there to Europe, all is not well there. You go, you think you're going to make it, only to find yourself in a circumstance of no return. You want to come home, but coming home is a failure. So I would rather stay in those quite very difficult circumstances than coming home. Last year in November, I was fortunate to be in Italy, Milan to be specific. The hotel I was is not far from the main train station. Very curious, 10 p.m. in that cold, I went out. Around the train station, I met Gambian young men. How did I know they are Gambian young men? The first thing I had was Ningeba from a distance. So no one told me, in that from a distance. Well, I knew, these are my, young, these are my young people. And then I, tried to approach. My host told me, guy, a lot of these boys are either selling cannabis or selling drugs. And there's a lot of security around. If you get there and unfortunately security rates them, by the time they know you are not a part and parcel of the story, it might be too late for you. I said, just give me a minute. I'll just go talk to them for a minute and back. And I tried to. Unfortunately, the story is the same. I would rather be here than be back home. I think as a government, definitely, we will continue creating that enabling environment for young people, especially those in the creative industry, to strive and be examples. Let the story be louder on this side than on that side. People are moving because the story is louder on the other side. You go out there, take beautiful photos around houses, around vehicles in our Gucci or our Louis Vuitton, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And that's the story that we all see out there, not seeing the other side of the story. And it attracts us to go. But probably if the story is different, if we have a lot of young people on this side narrating success, I think it should be able to entice us to really stay. And where we want to go, we can definitely move with the dignity and the respect that we deserve, that we go do the job that we want to do and come back. But these things are recognized, I can assure you, at the level of government, and we will do all it takes to ensure we continue to promote. We have done that in the past. A lot of these young entrepreneurs, these young writers, however small it is, be it the Ministry of Government, have provided some small token of support to really help elevate them. But the important thing that has been mentioned earlier is patience. Doctor said the young guy is selling bitter cola in a year or two, he is going to be driving a vehicle, and then we begin to wonder, how was that possible? Patience. You want to be a tailor, after a year or two, you want to open your workshop. Na boss can do kundle. Mbuka fenye. Probably your boss sat down 20 years to open his workshop. You want to open your workshop within 2 years. I give you a piece of work to do, and then the finishing is like, a primary school writing. Primary school people probably writing on a piece of paper. The finishing is horrible. So you give them an opportunity once, a second time you can't. You want to be a mechanic, after 2 years, you want to open your workshop. You are given a vehicle, you can't fix it. Because patience. A lot of people came to this country with a shirt and a trouser. Only. We accommodated them in our houses, gave them breakfast, gave them lunch, gave them dinner. Well, today there are multimillionaires in this country. We are the ones actually going out there to ask for petty loans. And when they don't give us, we are like, well, he worked hard and he was patient and he got there. And I think this advice has been amplified by Honorable Sabali, by Doctor, and we just need to re-emphasize and urge all of us that hard work pays, and when we continue to persevere and work hard, it's definitely going to pay. And interestingly, that young guy that came with a shirt and trouser was never supported, but he toiled and struggled on his own, and he is there today with the little support that we are getting, either from philanthropists or from government or from NGOs or from other partners. I think giving it a little bit of time, we should be able to really excel as young people in this country. The future is bright, and we are hopeful. We want to congratulate Fatou Kamara Jr. for organizing such an event. Take this opportunity to also congratulate Safia Juf for her book launch. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend, a bit far from town. IG had an event also, happy that it went on successfully. And again, want to thank those of that senior generation that are always there supporting. In most of these events, I've seen Honorable Sabali attend. Your presence is a great motivation for a lot of these young people. Please continue to be present in these forums. Whether you speak or you don't speak, just be present. It adds a lot of value to a lot of these young people. They look up to you. So please, let's continue supporting. Auntie Fatou was at the event. I saw the photos. Thank you very much. And again, the young people that you are training on skills, I think this is highly appreciated. Dr. Barry supporting our young writers. Thank you very much. And to all of them that continue really appearing in these forums and really supporting our young ones, is quite motivating. And it helps a lot, really, pushing them to the next level. So once again, thank you to all of you for really coming out to support. Let's continue to support. It's the Gambia that we have. Let's support each other, and we'll definitely get there. Thank you very much to all of you. I hope it was 5 minutes.
No, it was more than that, but it's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Now we want to have baby Aisha to come recite a poem for us. Somewhere, I don't know. Can you use your voice without projecting? Maybe you can go. Yeah. Tàccul leen ko yéen it mu jël. The mic is not working. Where are the logistic teams? Boy, can you project your voice? Don't worry. Dafa dem. Tàccul leen ko rek mu dem rek.
I am Billy Anson, and I am here to recite a poem entitled Reading is a Treasure. Reading is a treasure. At book fairs, it's a wonderful sight. Kids like me feel with...
This lady got me in my full attire. This lady, you can even take me back to food. Yeah, well deserved. Thank you very much. So I'm donating $20,000.
Oh! Thank you.
Probably more. Maybe by keeping maybe in 2-3 years, I can sell you for 100,000.
Copyright.
In the young people. So you are my motivation. And Fatu knows that you are my motivation. Right? Greetings to my brother, Mr. Muhammad Sabali. I appreciate him so much. He's always in the midst of young people. We at Genjoro, we know, because whatever we do, he's there. And he has also given us some of his books in our library. And our students are using it very wisely. Thank you so much, brother, for all the support. Thank you. Monsieur Aladi from Senegal, thank you for coming. Merci, jërëjëf si li nga ñëw apprécié nañ ko trop. Fatou, my princess, keep striving hard, you'll get there, inshallah. Mr. Janyu, let's support the young people. Your office is here for the young people. Let us move it. The National Youth Center the National Youth Council is here for the young people. Keep knocking on his doors. They have a lot of money. They have to support our young people. He's doing it, but I'm just pushing the young people to know where to go to. Right? To everyone here present, Sue, thank you for coming again. Appreciate it. Fatu, my lovely princess, I see you. I heard about 360, I didn't see him. I heard about Ndei Fatu. That's another princess that I have. I didn't see her too, but I heard about her name. Thank you all for supporting Fatu Kamara. I'm just taking notes from what people said, because everywhere I go, for me, I learn. Every day I read books to add to what I have. Mr. Jafune, my doctor, I didn't see you. So now I'm reading a book that is very interesting, a book written by V, a young Zimbabwean in the UK, who studied at Oxford and had very long way of entering into Oxford as an African, and people thought that it wasn't possible, but for her, she made it through. And the book is Empowered. That's what it is called. And I feel reading, as my chairman said, Dr. Umar Bari is the chairman of Genjoro. So I was so proud also to meet him here today. Mamadou Sabali said, grammar is essential and very important. Read as many books with different walks of life. Don't limit yourself to just reading. I want to read novels. I want to read about women. I want to read about men. Read a lot of books to open your IQs. Because when you read a lot, you learn a lot. That is why people who wrote books, if they tell you how many books they've written, how many books they've read, you would not believe it. But they will tell you that they've read so many books. That is why they will be able to pick from here and there and be able to do something. Learn from others and add value to it. That's the power of reading. And we know information is very powerful. If you don't get the information right, you cannot put it into context. Let us relate what we read to our daily lives to motivate and empower ourselves and also be able to empower others. These are all things that I've got from the high table here because I wasn't preparing a speech. I didn't know that I was going to speak. But everywhere I go, I take notes of what I find there and I add it to my library. I also have a special library. So if you come on my phone and look at look at my notes, you see a lot of things that I pick from other people. Be curious, be innovative, create, and be open-minded. I am very curious. Wherever I go to, I learn, I ask questions, I talk to people, and whatever they tell me, I write. Because I know my crooked pen is better than my sharp mind. Because I have so many things to think about. A lot of young people around me, they say a lot of things, and I cannot capture all. So I always write. Visit libraries, museums, go to programs, and take notes, like I've just done, taking notes. Right? And then whatever people say, try to resonate it to yourself and learn from it so that you can also teach others, because we live in the power of 10, that we always have to empower 10 people along the way, every day we wake up. So that is development. If we continue doing that, like Mamadou Sabali is doing, wherever he goes, he teaches people, those people taught other people, they teach other people, and that is how the knowledge goes. My brother, keep doing that. I was so happy to hear that a woman was the first to write a book, The Beggar's Tribe, in 1981, that promoted the education of the girl child. So it's girl power. I agree with Dr. Sabel, with Momodu Sabel again, that is girl power. We had Ajindumbe doing lovely paintings, poets, and a lot of things. There's a girl power. We have Fatu Kamara Jr. writing books, girl power. We have Sophia Juf last week, that's also girl power. So I believe it's an era of women. And a woman is a nation. When a woman is supported, a nation is built. So I'm very hopeful that we'll have a better nation in the Gambia. We'll have the best nation we want because women are striving. Keep striving as women and know that it's our time and we will get there. I know Sally Singata, but never knew that she wrote books. I know her very well. And fighting for early marriage for women, that is also key. And I'll talk to her about what she does and get some books for our library as well. So I'm grateful to be here, Fatu. Very, very grateful to be here. And also see the hopes of life that are the young people striving it very hard to reach to the highest heights. I've seen people that I've met on the Gambia Chamber of Commerce. People, young people now, I see them striving so hard. When there is poets, they go. When there is competitions, when there is anything that moves them, that they can have a little to add to what they do. But my advice is never wait for anybody. Time is not waiting for any of you. So never wait for anybody. Always do what you can within your capacity and grow it. Whoever meets you on the way, it's a plus. But what I see is sometimes in young people can dimbale you, can support you. I don't believe in that. I believe in what you can do. And then people found you on that and then support you on the way. They can hold your hands and move you, but not to just wait for them to always do it for you. It's never possible for people to give you everything you need. Do not want anybody to spoon feed you. Say that I will do it, I can. It's my idea. It's something that I have to grow. It's something that I believed in. Passion is what moves people. Passion is what moves Fatu today to have a book fair. She wrote a book. She could have stopped there. And she's one of the latest that wrote a book. But she said, I'm going to bring everybody together, share my knowledge with everybody, try so that all those who have books can also bring their books in and we'll all share that platform. That is empowerment. And that is what she is doing. So I'm proud of her for sharing what she has and also bringing other people together to share what they have and then grow it to the next level. Thank you so much. I was honored to be here.
Please reach out and purchase her book, please. Please support. Safiat, we are so proud of you. Congratulations. Thank you so much. All right. Next, we are going to call the nib of the pen. Say Ture, Senabu Ture. Where's the nib of the pen? To recite a poem for us. Senabu Ture, are you in the building? Poet's supposed to be energized. Where are you? I'm skipping.
The mics are going. I'll be using my voice to recite. And I hope you all will enjoy this. The poem is entitled, Beyond the Dead End Was a Woman's Land. Tembuguni lawon tay maguna khamna ligili danti samakhal masan ko wa yehna kham koi sama yai ak sama bye bye fog ni won be my dugu ekol na kharaktis festi sama khal fog ni won summa da wedi joy namuna gestu gislen yen ñaar sama wet man namuna gislen sama wet lima bëgg ngeen taxawuma. In my school days, I fought my peers whenever they're there. And first position, I never share every year. To my mom and dad, I am there. To them, I am the best of their mates. And my siblings declared it unfair, gave me nightmares. Yet in truth, there was more to this glare. And because of imprudence, my mind was dirty.
malleable, sticky like mud. When Mami knew, she said, Kundobin raisa mam, bo gisee lu ñuul nga daw ba dee. Te jekku jekkali, dafa xewi. Kon jéggaleel, jëlaleel, te jàngale. That docked out my brain and drew reality on its walls. She taught me how to speak, and since then, my voice began to sound loud. My brain began to cook new ideas. My words started healing hearts. I'm like a goldsmith. I weave art in one puddle. Poetry, songs, stories, all in gold, weaved in one puddle. And now I bet you know why I don't giggle. My story cannot be your honey, so stop those rambles and get to learn the parables. Because this is not a prattle, but a little beetle handling battles. I came with a name, and not for fame, but to mount to the stage, play the game, and take my claim, because it's me, being me in what I do best. And the rest is for you to judge, because beyond the dead end was a woman's land. Thank you.
We are winning. All right, next to the next point, the voice, Fatim Kebe. The voice doesn't really need a mic. So, so when Fatu texted me, she said I should recite the piece that I recited on IG's exhibition because it has to do with a lot that is happening in our generation. But before going forward, I just want us to take these like 30 seconds or 40 seconds to pay tribute to those who lost their lives in the Mediterranean Sea. They sang songs of struggle, gathered on a boat and buckled, with faces frowned nor cackled. Old dreams placed on a boat full of hitches and obstacles. Some tailored a journey to Spain, hoping the water could quench their pain. As their hopes were stained, their dreams went in vain, as the sea swallows them with no gain, sucking every blood that runs through their vein. A deadly journey, yet everyone wants to follow the chain. Léegi nag maa ngi ñëw start my piece bi. I want it to be very nice. So I'll stand here. The title of the piece is Dara. And really, I don't want you all to cry. Yeah? It's going to be emotional at some point, so it is. It is sadness. So amul dara duñ la kiyee dara du xew ba ñu wax la dara cause you are considered to be dara. So demee dara sax ñu ne doo dara di la yuhu ba ngay bara saraka su amee ñu ne ko yaay dara jël ko égal ko sa kaw duñ la musa jox dara, so it is sad. It is sad ne fii ñu fi am dara joxuñ al yatimi dara di leen romba di jëndal seen family sara xara di leen bégloo, forgetting the first 3 lines in Suratul Ma'un. Have you seen him who denies the recompense? That is he who repulses the orphan harshly and urges not on the feeding of the al-miskin, the poor. So it is sad. It is sad ne bes dina ñëw dara du des ci aduna bi ku fi am dara sax du ànd ak dara parce que yàlla du la yóbbu ak dara sudut loo ko liggéeyal kon aduna bi du dara. See, living and dying is what we are here for, sinning and repenting, forgiving and forgetting. Kon bul gis nit rek nga ne ko yow doo dara. Bum la ñaan dara be nga ne ko amuloo dara soo koy jox dara sax nam nekk ci sutura parce que bés dina ñëw doo ànd ak dara. So be mindful. Be careful, because even the powerful can be hurtful. So say sorry to the sorrowful, even when the hurtful is so colorful. Never forget to be useful, parce que du la wàññi dara. So it is sad. It is sad ne suñ jigéen yi dañoo occupé juróom-ñeenti weer dem hôpital te duñ gis dara duñ ànd ak dara parce que neene bi dem na si dara bu mag bi mooy si yàlla kon fokk ñun poit si ñu bina dara parce que gisuñu dara ko fewni Gambia heewani kono ɓe waɗani mo kala ngaɗani ha hewɓe maayi ndeysaan ɗum na yurmini dega li metti na ndax suma gestoo dumay gis dara surut suñ ndawi yëpp jarne si yooni gannaaw bi yoon bu daw yaram yoon bu amalut kenn yërmande yoon bu wana bakken yu bari mu jox leen dee bu daw yaram ndox bi fata seen bakken yi mu fata seen nopp yi mu fata seen dena yi waaye nii ñu ne duñ bàyyi fokk ñu bégloo yaayi balaa ñoo taayi bari no man sakunda fongole ba deyrin kuwal be ba sumiyaarin fenne man tara diyaarin but enough is enough parce que lu ñàkk si ndaw dafa bëri. We have lost our fathers, brothers, and even future husbands. Kon jot na pour ñu waxalante dëgga wonalante dëgga saxalante dëgga ndax dëgga mooy taxaw. So rise up. Rise up and clear that, hey, do not fake, but allow us wait for this. It's for our sake. I fear this system. For our country is sinking in the deepest oceans of lies, cries, and deceit. For this is not what we wanted, but we are granted pain instead of gain, comments instead of good comments, lies instead of the truth, and this is our nation. That's why I am against the motion, for the motion in this nation does not favor the poor, the needy, and the differently able. So I am against the system. In a nation full of corruption, destruction, and distraction, so rise up. Rise up, our teachers are being used without proper pay. Many live in a house of clay because they can't lay a foundation, nor can they build a house from their pay. Thank you.
You here for the music performance? Billy Boy, are you here? Let's encourage him, please.
nekkul ni parce que woykat nga moo tax waruloo jàng moo tax waruloo jàng waruloo réer donc man bi ma commencé musique boobu xale bu ndaw di ànd ak sama nijaay ñu koy woy Billy Boy gaañu na xam naa ne di koy yëg nañ ko voilà may def musique di jàngawaale ñu bëri wax ju bëri ñu ne yaa ngi ànd ak xale bi yaa ngi yàq jàngam xale bi du jàng yaa ngi koy yóbbu ay concert mu ngi dem foofu di bàyyi école di du jàng so ma nekk si jàng ba tey maa ngi université bu Dakar nekk si musique bi nekk si jàng bi ba tey man sama jëlee man université donc pour wax leen ne loolu jàng yàqul sa carrière musique boo nekkee artiste jàng yàqul sa carrière football boo nekkee footballeur ok ngamera jamale manya ko moy wol misala sura ko anti kodi la manya ko moy ngamera do sumi arene be balol kan ni do manding so tawo jam fata kon ko mo la e bule do muroto muske bata no manyo yara muske bata no manyo ko ko la bale Gambia ko ko la bala Semukan kumondi naman ke putuoti kakunyoli ya dandang iko ya bye bye dindiulu bedata iko merulu bedata iko tinili kamera dalole ya sabu dunia betende jommela banyalom dindiulu bedata iko ya bye bye merulu bedata iko ya bye bye ayeku ayepare kaka pasetu ay gongo pese kilo Hey, I get you, you car, meta. Hey, I tell you, busy. Money, chicken them what coupon. Ryan Citizen, Dial the team, chicken baby is excellent. Can do connect, Lumana motor to go, can do connect. Don't put on nada, don't put on nada. Don't put on nada, don't put on nada. Hey, I'm a bandit. I'm a bandit, Baba. Don't put on nada, don't put on nada. Don't put on nada, don't put on nada. I'm a Monday, I be guilty. I'm a Monday, Baba, I be guilty. Yes, I'm in America. Yes.
Thank you, Billy, for that performance.
Assalamu alaikum. Jerejef, everybody, for coming. Toga bi yagana. Event we was supposed to start 10 a.m. but fortunately, or let me say congratulations to the audience, because unlike other events where speakers will come and have to wait for the audience, but today luckily the audience came before the speakers and everybody was like, Hana event we do start. Yagana no talk di. Jerejef once again and for the patience. So this book fair, what happened was Fatima Mulushi, she's a friend and a partner. I call her partner because we usually sit together and brainstorm on things that we want to work on next. So it was after her event that we were at Lakers sitting, and I was like, you know what? I wanted to organize a listening for my novel, However, I think it would be nice to do a book fair because we're having so many authors these days, so many people that are writing. And having a book fair would really go a long way in motivating myself and also other authors that are coming up and those that are already in the system. And besides, we have so many legendary authors like Momodou Sabali, which whom I'm sure everybody knows. But then we also have others like Fafambai and many of them that people do not really know. Even myself, it was when I started putting together the idea of a book fair, that was when I get to know others. Okay, so I told Mulushi, I know when we start the first one, it won't be a big one because they said if you want to go on a journey, every journey starts with, one step. So we will do this, but the next one that is coming is going to be massive. She was like, "Hamga sa affair, yo mom," and then that was how it all started. And really, I am really happy to see all of you here. Thank you once again. I would like to say thank you so much to Honorable Momodou Sabali. You are an inspiration. You are a motivation. We really look up to you. That is why today I was like, you need to come here. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And also, I would like to say thank you to Omar. He came all the way from Senegal. Um, he is also an author and a publisher in Senegal, and they've signed me. The company, the name of the company is Elma Publishing House, and they signed me to be one of their authors. And Dr. Barry, Professor Barry is not here. Thank you to him. And Alaji, thank you once again. The last time I invited your boss, the minister, he didn't turn out, and he sent you. And this time around also, you're the one that's here. I think I'll have to start sending invitations to you instead of him. Thank you for coming. And my mother, Fatu Sen Genjoro, if I am to say anything, I might, be very emotional and say yes, which I don't want to do right now. She's been very supportive since day one, when most of you don't even know that I exist. She's been there. Thank you so much. That's why I keep calling her to my events. Even if I have another one tomorrow, I'm still gonna call you because you are mine now. Thank you. And I would like to acknowledge the presence of Al Haji. He is a Senegalese author. He came here all the way from Senegal and he has his books displayed. And to the people that supported the event, Swami India International are the ones that supported this book fair. They're the only ones that supported this book fair. So I want you all to clap for them. However, the people that supported my book launch were Gainjoro. I also have Dex Delivery Services. The CEO is around. And we also have Wehguru, is an Indian traveling company that is here based in the Gambia. They also supported. Thank you very much, Wehguru. And thank you everyone. Toga bi yagana, angin balal ma aherek. And I would love for all of us to kindly, if after Aji closed the event, go behind there. There is a tent where these authors have displayed their books, their novels. Kindly support by buying their books. We have Safia's work is there. We have Anika Kambo, myself, my novel is there, the novels of Al Haji, and other authors whom I forgot to mention their names. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm not going to bore you with much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
This portrait to Fatu for me. It's one of my pieces I did for her. Please help me, please. Fatu, I hope it looks like you. Thank you so much. Please present it for her. That's my business. You can reach out. I am into painting and photography. Def I photo you rafet. I painting you. All right, thank you so much. If you just need a portrait like this, I am into art, and I'm sure I will do something that looks like you. So please reach out and support. I just want to say is that young people of this country, we have a long way to go, and the competition is to change the narrative of this country. The competition is not you and I. The competition is the system. We want to beat down the system and bring improvement. It's not between you and I. All right? Let's learn, let's collaborate, let's ally. Let's raise each other's shoulder.
While you have an event, invite somebody else. Don't be intimidated by people's progress. Why some of these people are more into connecting is that they always rally behind each other. And young people, this is our challenge and this is our problem. We don't rally behind each other. It's high time you japalante. Wherever you are, call somebody else. Don't be intimidated. All right. And my final word will be: it's high time that Gambia realize that we no longer need a star. We need galaxies. Let me repeat that. It's high time that people of this country realize that we no longer need a star, we need galaxies. When we want to talk about authors, we only want to call photographers, when we want to call painters, we don't just want to call one. We want to call a galaxy, a room full of photographers, writers, speakers, and young people that are just have the audacity to just break the barrier. All right, I wanted to close because I'm very rigid. Somehow I wanted to be a politician, but I changed my mind. But the certificates are here. I wanted to do my last closing because they are late, and I don't want to tolerate lateness. But I will break protocols and just present the certificate. Please, I'm giving you 2 minutes. If you're not here, we'll cancel it.
Yeah, welcome again. As I told you, we are here in Bakadaji Hotel in Kololi, where Africa Book Fair is taking place. And of course, as you can see in the background, we have a lot of books that have been written by prominent actors, and of course, the respective authors of these particular books are also, seated in their respective tables of their different books. As you can see, the Anika Kambo, the author, is right here. I will engage her and then have a small interview with her as to what inspired her to be that great author. That being the case, just glue to your screens and keep watching Gambian Talents TV as we bring you everything that unfolds here in the book fair in Bakadaji Hotel in Kololi. And I'm your reporter on the ground at Morlamin Job. Until then, I will bring you interviews of respective authors, and as you can see, a lot of books have been spread on the table, and these are very, very important books. Poems and stories of inspiration, motivation, and love, written by of course Fatu Emba, and then we will engage her as to what inspired her to be an author for that matter. So okay, good. Yeah, like I told you, we are here in Bakadaji Hotel in Kololi, where the Africa Book Fair is taking place today. So here with me is a young, prominent female author by the name of Fatu Emba. Until then, we'll engage her and ask her as to what inspired her to be an author, and of course, where did the motivation come from. First of all, Fatu, how are you?
I'm okay, and you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay.
Oh, that's very good. We've seen her with book.
Yeah.
And short stories that has to do with inspiration, motivation, and of course love.
Yeah.
What inspired this?
Well, actually, I'll start by saying I never expected that I will publish a book. Since when I was young, I loved to write. I have a diary where I just keep on writing. So when I started my national diploma, so just sometimes when I'm free, I don't have classes, I just take my laptop and start writing. So I just got up one day and go through what I was writing. I decided to meet a publishing company who is Fode Balde, a publisher. Then I showed him my work. Then he said it's good. I can go ahead and publish the book. Yeah, but
That's very important. During the course of writing this book,
yeah.
What was the actual plan? Were you trying to write books just to sell it to get money, or were you trying to change some of the narratives happening in society?
Okay, actually, the motive behind writing the book is to inspire people. That's my motive because we are all struggling with something in one way or the other. Some could be health problem, marital issue, or family issue. Like I said, it's stated there though. We are all struggling with something. So my motive is to inspire people, which is why I always write. My writing stuff is always based on inspiration or motivational stuff. Even my second book, which I'm writing right now, the title is Wisdom in Inspiration. Yeah, that is my priority, to motivate and inspire people because we are all going through something in one way or the other. Yeah.
That's very important. I think in fact this book came at a right time where some people are very feel like look they are not at their best and they are very they show down that they need motivations to get to the I mean to get to another level. I think
Sure.
by reading these motivational books will definitely push them to reach others. So we congratulate you for this and then wish you all the best of luck. And I'm calling on all and sundry to come and purchase her book. And where can one get your books from? Do you have I mean a store or you publish them anywhere or get numbers that people can connect to so that they want to get these books?
Okay, the books are available at Tumbuktu Bookshop, Bakau. Yes, and at Fuladu Publishers as well. Or they can also buy directly from me.
That's very important. But one more question before I leave, because knowing putting together all these things is not an easy task. I mean, you must go through sleepless nights. I mean, tough times. I mean, the inspirations at some point. You need to be meditating all the time. I mean, what are some of the challenges?
Well, I didn't have any challenge while writing it because I had a lot of people out there who were supporting me. And when I was writing the book, like I had a lot of space. Back then, I can say, alone at home. My mom traveled, so I was alone at home with the shopkeeper. So he hardly come inside, so I had enough time to write. There was no distraction. Yeah. During my leisure times, I always write. Alright.
Usually,
Oh, okay. At Timbuktu, they are selling it for 500, but I personally sell it for 300, 400, some 375. Yeah. Oh, my own personal number. Okay.
If you feel like you share it so you can.
Yeah, I can give it to
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Then yeah, I know. Once again, come nga falen Nyamarek, still we are here in the book fair in Bakadaji Kololi, where I think this is first of its kind, a book fair happening in the Gambia, courtesy of the magnanimous and hardworking lady Fatou Kamara, Junior for that sake. And then today we have a lot of young prominent artists here. I mean, who are definitely doing extremely well in their respective work, especially when it comes to writing. And here with me is a very hardworking sister. Until then, I will give her the microphone and she will introduce herself to some of you watching her. I mean, these are some of the books she has written so far, and then as like I told you, Gambia we have a lot of talents, especially in the female among our females. These are people that are definitely doing good, but at some point the society didn't really recognize their works because of perhaps maybe their gender or whatever. But I think this year they have broken those records or barriers, and women are extremely doing well when it comes to development and intellectually and whatever you call it. So until then, I will engage her and then have a short interview with her with regards to her poetic work. And then, hello, sister.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thanks. What's your name?
My name is Ainika Kambo. Yeah,
Gambian or Malian?
I am a Gambian. This is an artist name. It's a pseudonym. Yeah, yeah.
So, what motivated the last film writer book? Because we know this book must contain a whole lot of things. I mean, what really, inspired this book?
Well, I got inspired through everything that I see, as in everyday daily life. These stories about oppression and a young girl's defiance and her metamorphosis towards a better warrior who will say, no, I will not let this happen. Yeah, and this one is sci-fi fantasy set in near future Africa, but it's more or less post-apocalyptic. Yeah, so it's Gambian because I am Gambian, even though the name says different, but it's a writer's name. Normally here, we're not that used to a writer's name, but I am doing that because of copyright issues. Yeah, so
That's very important. I mean, Gambian supporting Gambian is more of you supported yourself because at the end of the day, if a Gambian purchased this book and it would help that very Gambian. And we know Gambia, we have when it comes to reading, we have very our attitudes towards reading, our reading habits is very, very bad. We don't read books. And in every civilized country, if we want the country to excel, to develop, we must read and know issues. I mean, otherwise we will continue to be in doom. And then we know writing books is something that will definitely involve a lot of hard work, sacrifices, endless sleep nights, and the likes. What are some of the challenges you were going through when you came up with the idea of writing books?
Okay, first of all, there's a lot of challenges. I started writing when I was 14, and it was at first it was just a dream, a young girl's dream to do something. And because I've always loved reading, I'm a bookworm. But there's too many problems. Like for example, getting the covers. I can't get the covers here. I have to get a graphic designer to do something that is aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And editing wise, I probably have to use an editing software to do it or hire someone to do it, which really cost. And I think publishing wise, we don't have a publishing house here. We don't. And we need a publishing house. What we have is a printing house. We need a publishing house where authors can just submit their works and they get reviewed, and next minute they sign up. But we don't have that here. I don't know when we will have it, but probably another 10 years before we have it. That is really laughable. Yeah. And cost wise, it's a lot more expensive to publish here in the Gambia than it is to do it on Amazon. I have to do this on Amazon, so it will have cost more, and I will have much more less really low quality product. Not saying they don't have really good quality ones here. So we might need to have that. The publishing industry need to have investment. We need investors to come and invest in that, because writing, literature, it is the backbone of any nation. Go to any other country, anywhere, it is. And we need more intellectuals. We need more readers, but we don't have it. You give a book to someone, and most of the time, give them 5 minutes, and they are sleeping. But it's changing now. We're having more readers. Alhamdulillah, that is really good.
It is very important. I mean, but like she rightly mentioned, you hardly see people, in fact, go and purchase books or novels to read them. And if you don't read, definitely you will be easily be deceived, perhaps by your leaders, by your peers, or whatever. So it's very important to read books. And then, how much are you selling your copies per copy? How much?
I am selling 8 copy for $850. That's what I'm doing, and each book is around 400 plus pages. Yeah. Right now with me, but I'm gonna go to Timbuktu and have them stock it. Yeah.
So at this point in time, one needs to get a copy, needs to either call you or come to.
Probably they might have to end up calling me, but hopefully in the next few days I'll just have them at Timbuktu. So if anyone wants it, they could try and pick at Timbuktu and they can have it.
That's very important. I don't know if you would like to share in your business number, because not everybody does that, because this is media and then it's crazy sometimes. So would you rather share it personally than saying it live on air, or it's up to you because it's a business, so you choose either?
I can do it. If anybody wants to buy a copy of my book, 224-3823, you can reach me there and we'll see how you can get it. Yeah.
That's very important. Good luck. But look, I have to ask one few questions before I have to leave you. Because it's very important. I mean, do you write books to make a living out of it, or do you write books to change some of the ill narrations in our society?
I'm not trying to make money because I've been doing this for a lot of years. I just started publishing now. But if you're writing for the money, then you are doing it wrong. You have to be passionate about writing if you really want to make it. And then whatever comes next, it's a bonus. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and I wish you good luck and all the best of luck. The book fair in Bakadaji, Kololi, one of the coolest hotels around this end. So we had a book fair here, courtesy of Fatima Junior Camera, who definitely masterminded the whole program. I think this is first of its kind for the Gambia to be having a book fair in this country. Probably you might not be seeing a lot of things because this is first of its kind, but we're hoping to see more of this in the coming years. But until then, here with me is also another young prominent actor, author rather, who I will engage, and she will tell us, what I really inspire her to be, I mean, an author for the matter. Assalamu alaikum. Can you tell our viewers your name and
Hello, everyone. I am Maria Tuba, the author of Scales of Vengeance and Tears of Darkness.
That's very cool. Writing is about agency, and
Mm.
it's not something that you just jump on and start writing. Where did the inspiration come from?
Actually, I always ask myself that question, but if I might answer it, I would say it's from reading. I love reading a lot because the most of the time, what I do during my leisure time is reading. I think the inspiration of writing comes from reading. That's what I can give.
That's very important. And then, working towards projects like writing is not an easy task, and it's not a one-man show.
Mm.
You must have people that will be editing your scripts, your write-ups, and all of that. I mean, how do you manage the crowd increase and writing is and of course, you can answer that one before I bring the other question since you know me.
Yes, you're right. It's not easy to have editors, but with reading, I think most of the time you'll be able to edit some of your work because yeah, it's not easy. But I try to reach out to so many people like Michael Hamadiseka from the regional office and also Mr. Sane. He was my teacher. He's part of the people that edit the work. And also one of my greatest mentor, Anika. Yes, he's part of the people that are guiding me through. And I'm hoping to reach out to so many people to make sure I have one of the best. Because yeah, because this is reading and it is writing, and if you're to show out something at the people, you need to show them something that is valuable. This is English. You need rectifications and nobody is perfect. So you can reach out to editors no matter how much you have.
That's very important. Are you becoming an actor? Did it come from? Are you passionate about it, or you just doing it to make a living out of it?
No, not actually to make a living out of it, but I think I'm passionate about it. I love doing it. And sometimes what comes like that, I don't know how it comes, but I just like writing and reading. Yeah, I think I'm passionate about it.
Good. So, what are some of the difficulties you encounter, and what are some of the, and what are you calling on the general public, be it the government, the philanthropists, the youth minister? What support do you actually need? And of course, what are some of the trials and tribulations you've been through before reaching where you are here today?
Yeah, that's right. I think Gambians, we need editors. We need publishing centers. We don't have it. We have many places that call themselves printing and publishing, but we don't have it. It's quite difficult. And writers, like I said, we need editors. You cannot just show out your work out there without knowing what is in that book. You need people to go through it. And I think that's what we lack, and the support from the government, people to buy books. We need all those things. Yeah.
It is very important. But before we take a leap, Rawadi, you can give us a snippet of the Tears of Darkness. Tears of Darkness is kind of strange to me. So,
Mhm.
can you just tell us a little bit about the book itself?
Okay, just to cut it short, I think Days of Darkness is mainly about what people go through. People like mostly young women, yeah, what they go through. These are fears that they face, pains that they go through, and they find it so difficult, so hard to explain or to tell it to people outside because they're scared of people judging them and the like. Yeah. And it is also an anthology of five such stories. You have five such stories inside there. Yeah. So all is with for it's talking of one team, and the team is pains that people go through, and they find it so difficult to say out to others because they're scared of maybe others might judge them. Yeah, bully them because of what they're going through. Yeah.
That's very important.
Mm.
Congratulations for that. We wish you all
Okay.
the best in doing what you do. And if one really needs to purchase your book, where can one find
Okay, yes. If you really need my books for now, we are doing pledges. I'm working on my book launch on like February. February is going to be the book launch because February, yeah, not staple date yet. So it's going to be on February. They can,
2024?
yeah. For now, if you need my book, you can have my number and do pledges. Yeah, or reach out to Unique Graphic at Gympex opposite is it NEA? Yes, NEA. All right.
Who would you like to share your number live?
Yes. Yeah, my number is 58336061 or 78626112. Yeah, or you go to Unique Graphic at Gympex.
Thank you very much. That's very important. Only if you wanted to play, not for anything else. Only if you wanted to play towards, her work. We need to appreciate people. And give them their flowers when they really deserve it, because she puts in a lot of hard work and efforts to make sure that she wrote these important books. So as Gambians, let's keep supporting each other. That's what we know. That's what the culture teaches us. So as for that, I'm calling on all Gambians and non-Gambians to support our writers in the country. They are very important. Because reading is one of the things that really helps people to think beyond the box, to reason very well. And research has it that too much, the more you read, it's the more you live longer. So keep reading books. For your own growth. I am your reporter on the ground, Yamod Lamintu, and Safiatou is my comrade until then we can wrap it up here. As you can see, that brings us to the end of the program. Although there is not more groovy here, because this is first of its kind, and probably maybe most Gambians are aware of it. I think it's high time for Gambians to take ownership of their own and then start supporting their own brothers and sisters in whatever they are doing. But otherwise, the country will still continue to go backward. We need to be more Gambian. We need to be patriotic and be each other's keeper. Otherwise, ate kabiri do mbadi ngol ko mim faal kan be trade fair jina to jam bakadaji hotel to jam ko lol sate ko no jam di dum book fair ka jam ni mo don wala mu ko safer lalle safer ke dum ko kitabul so jam ndianan ka fa ko yela kitabul bonni le pour ka ko molina ya sa anu bu ko dum ko mayata bagale ni min ka karam fikadi ke pan ko le ke mira mo ki moti te min nyamen no le sike moti te min fere no so al nana nga bu ko ta ni karanga ko mayata bagale anu mulbe mi ko ko ma be mo gambia no le so ngamira is very important pour na finti na gambia no support dele bale no jambi a modla ni do kana ko secret len na camera mo manoti ala baraka ba ka fanya to demande
if anybody wants to buy this book, where can they get it? How can they
Yeah, exactly. Like we told you in the beginning that we're here in Bakadaji, Kololi, to yet to attend our first of its kind. For the first time, Gambia is having a book fair, and courtesy of one of the most hardworking young lady, Fatoumata Kamara Jr. We think she's the one who initiated this. And today, as you can see, we have a lot of stalls here. And we have just different authors from different parts of the world. And here with me is Mbaye Haji from Senegal, right? And he's an author of the climate change book, which is very important. And I think climate change is a serious issue at this point in time. I think the whole world needs to take mitigating efforts to make sure that we combat climate change. Mr. Mbaye, can you tell us what really inspired you to write this book called Climate Change?
Just before starting my answer, I want to tell all Gambian I am very proud to be here because it's the first time I still in Gambia. I just crossed to go to Casamance, and when I see Gambia and people, I'm so sad. I'm so sad because tubaab dañu tooñ ñu koy waxee dañu tooñ ba divide me. Voilà. For this book, to ensure for this book is the climate change. We say it. It's a very important question, particularly for vulnerable or
less privileged.
les pour dëkk yu ndóol yi. Dëkk yu ndóol yi mooy dëkk yu pauvre yi. Climate change, ça affecte, they affecte dëkk yëpp. They will affect all around the world, but it will hit very hard African people. It will hit very hard African people if you don't take action about it. And this is my first book intituled Climate Change, a serious threat on Africa, because I want to dama bëgg yee africain yi ci danger yi ñëw donc livre bi noonu laa ko tuddee di ko jagleel nag vraiment Afrique pas Sénégal yëpp mais Afrique yëpp looloo tax ma translate ko in English. Ok.
am na solo bu baax a baax comme noo ko waxee climate change needs to be everyone's business because we are all being victimized by climate change. As we can see a lot of destructions, especially si taw bi dañ dee mën a gis tamit recently sax da nga dee mën a béy sa béy bi du dee mën a baax because of, as a result of climate change. So this is why I think I'm imploring on everybody to plant more trees. Everyone will also contribute at some point. But it's very important that nga bind a book boo xam ne climate change dafa jàngal nit yi the dangers of climate change, ban solution lañ war a jël pour to avoid that of destructions or bad effects of the climate change. waaye xam ne tamit binda book dafa nekk loo xam ne yombu daal dafa am i tolof i jaar-jaar so kan mën nga ñu wax lan moo nekkoon sa jaar-jaar balaa ngaa eggatee foo àggani ba di binda book boo xam ne ba nga tuddee ko climate change.
Pour répondre à question boobu en fait question boobu yaakaar naa ni il faut me répondre ko il faut que me répondre ko I must answer rightly to this question. Sànq ñu ngi doon wax balaa ngay bind before reading a book you must have time, you must have much more time to read a book because you must make reflection, you must make da nga war a def ay réflexion da nga war a def ay mais livre bi dina leen bett mais jël laa ko bindee because my justice daf ma téye pendant 2 ans et demi pour loo xam ni sama yoon nekku ci mais comme fallait une enquête mu téye ma après daf ma dismiss case daf ma disculper daf ma jox non-lieu la ma demal mais durant ces 2 ans comme dama amoon jot ci laa réfléchir ba bind livre mel nii bi ma koy bind nag wax dëgg yàlla xaw ma lu tax ma bind ko inspiration la daf ma dikkee ci kaw ma traduire ko mais xaw ma ni nag bi ma koy bind dina am impact bu mel nii parce que Gambia mooy dëkk bu jëkk is the first country I make the step in English because the French version is already on Senegal and this is my first step with English version. Exactly. And I hope to diffuse, to produce this book in all Africa with the 2 versions, English and French.
That's very important. Recent or right now, book bi the climate change. Si ban dëkk la nekk right now in Africa, Gambia ak Senegal like I said, wala it went beyond that.
Pour répondre ci question boobu ci ñaar dëkk yëpp la nekk parce que climate change comme ni ñu koy waxee bàyyiwul kenn tàngaay crops bekkoor bi avancé mer bi li xew Gambia moo xew Sénégal donc destruction yi dafa yaatu donc te destruction yi bu ñu deful ndànk day yéeg I tell you the next generation will be suffer very well because the effect of climate change will be very hard and we must take action even if we can stop it we must adapt it. Exactly, we must take action for adaptation and this book
entails all what it matters.
Exactly.
That's very important, I think. And then, not the last but the least, we know reading has been a very, very problem when it comes to reading. Among Africans or Gambians and Senegalese, we have a very, very bad read habit. We don't read. You bari dunde buka ajanga dal. So lo mana pour emphasize lo lenda we na dem book para book di read because of am solo importance reading la buka nga wanda we ñu la nekk di setan.
Question bu intéressante la parce que reading and writing, reading for young people c'est un avenir la. Il faut que ñu comprendre que bu ñu nekkul ay lecteurs jël book bu mel nii tee ko di ko lire wala beneen moo gën nekk ci ay TikTok moo gën nekk ci ay Facebook et cetera donc message bi moo na vraiment ñaax ndaw ñi bi ma jaajëfalee Fatou Camara ci initiative bi parce que c'est une foire la man buñ ma ko waxee dama ne damay jóge Sénégal ñëw fii mais message bi il faut que ñu porter ko il faut que vraiment les jeunes il faut que jeunes yi xam ni seen avenir mi ngi ci lecture te tubaab yi gis nga tubaab yi foofu la ñu rawee dañuy teel a ñaax seen doom yi ñu def loo xam ne amal na leen njëriñ mais bu ñu nekkee ci TikTok ak Facebook ak WhatsApp et cetera duñ jëriñ dara avenir bi mi ngi ci savoir knowledge we can master we can do our best effort to make knowledge.
That's very important. And then finally, if somebody needs to read climate change, which I think is a very, very good concept, and I know people would definitely love to purchase it. What are some of your contact information that if one really needs it, or do you have them in a particular store that they would need to go there and then buy it, or what?
Of course, livre bi foire bi mi ngi jar defe naa junni mooy 1000. Yeah, $1,000 because we are in fair. But after fair, this book will be with Fatou Kamara. And I am sure, I hope dama am yakar vraiment que Gambien yi lire ko. Voilà, donc dina nek ci Fatou Kamara. Sama contact mi ngi ci livre bi pour ñi bëgg contacter ma directement buñ ko lire. Pour am ay information pour am ay question mais livre bi na sa xel dal na xel Gambien dal indi naa ko Gambie xëy na dinaa ko yóbbuwaat quelques exemplaires mais dama koy incha allah dina nekk Gambie voilà.
jërëjëf di la jaajëfal si taxaw boo jël loolu am na solo bu baax a baax especially nag yow book boo bind nii dafa nekk loo xam ne comme is a global concern. Climate change bàyyut even tubaab yi ñoom si seen boppam ñoom xam naa ñoom ñee joyete waaye bot ñun africain yi la ñoo si gën a sona so for that being the case nga nekk ndaw boo xam ne jonga you take this bold step ne you want to combat this issue. I think worth commending and ñun laa wax rek good luck, you keep writing and keep doing what you do and you inspire the next generation. And thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes, and finally that brought us to the end of this book fair coverage here at Pakadaji Hotel in Kololi. And I am Mutlamin Job, your reporter, who has been here since morning. And then the book fair went very successful, although the number we were expecting, we didn't see that, but we understand this is first of its kind. Probably in the near future, we will have a whole lot of different authors and different people coming out to interact with so many intellectuals. I mean, the purpose of this book fair is to connect different authors from different parts of the world. We have prominent authors on ground here who are selling their books at a very, very reasonable price. And the whole program, I mean, was masterminded by Fatou Kamara Jr., who had the idea that, I mean, young people definitely needs to be reading because reading is very important. The more you read, the more you think beyond the box, and the more you explore new venues, and of course you reach greater heights. So for that being the case, as we all know, Gambians reading has been our problem. We don't easily read books. So for that being the case, I think this is an opportunity for every individual to start reading books, because the more you keep reading books, you will never be deceived, fooled, or caged by anyone around you or the government or whomsoever you think is an elite. So as per that, this book, fair launch went successful, to be honest. It went successful despite the fact this is first of its kind, but we have a lot of prominent people who graced the occasion. Mohamed Sabali, Gambia Spen, who is of course a world-renowned writer in the Gambia. He has, he wrote a lot of books here. I mean, he graced the occasion and he was the guest speaker. And of course, Dr. Cherna also, as you all know, he is the president of the Writers Association. So just to Korisat, I can tell you that this book fair is a massive success, and congratulations to Fatou Kamara Jr. for initiating such gestures. So until then, bye-bye from me. Until then, I would like to give gracias to Safiatou Kamara, because I wouldn't do justice if I didn't give Safiatou Jadi credit, because she has been filming everything happening there on the ground, and she is very energetic and bringing you all the footage you are seeing on the screen. I am Mudlamin Job. Bye-bye from me until then.